5 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, 3 kids died in an Amish buggy accident. A vote on property tax relief could come soon, and there's still lots of flooding in southern Indiana. What one emergency manager is saying after Fox News. You are listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It is 9 o'clock.
Less inflation. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Amid all the worry about Trump tariffs spiking up prices, we just learned inflation declined slightly in March from February, and the consumer price index also went down annually. Fox Business Network's Cheryl Casoni.
Month over month, the headline number, negative 0.1%. Year over year, we came in, headline number 2.4%. Wall Street was looking for 2.6%. So that's lighter than expected.
And that's also a drop from the 2.8% annual inflation in February. One price that keeps rising, though, eggs. A new record high, $6.23 a dozen on average, continuing the increase blamed on a bird flu outbreak. Now a tariff update.
Yesterday, the European Union finalised a set of tariffs on US goods. Today, it's put them on hold. The EU responding in kind to President Donald Trump's announcement that most of the trade tariffs he planned to impose are being frozen for 90 days.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. President Trump's reciprocal tariff pause came after many countries came forward to negotiate. Top White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett tells Fox.
We've already got offers on the table for more than 15 countries. 15 countries. Great. Now, that doesn't mean there's a deal, but it means that you've heard the much larger number for people who call and they want to talk.
But China's not negotiating. President Trump raised tariffs on Chinese goods to 125%. On Wall Street the day after a big stock rebound reacting to the tariff pause, selling may return. Dow futures down 700 points. The House may vote today on what President Trump calls a big, beautiful bill. The Senate's budget blueprint funding his agenda. He just posted on Truth Social it's coming along really well. It includes the biggest tax cuts in history, extending the 2017 cuts. But a vote on that bill was postponed last night. Some Republicans are opposed, prompting GOP Congressman Derek Van Orden to say,
there is a small group once again in the Republican conference that thinks that they got 77 million votes and that they're the president of the United States. They're not.
An American jailed in Russia for treason, Ksenia Karolina, was released today in a prisoner swap with the U.S. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The governor gives the thumbs up on an amendment. Your radar is clear. It's 42 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. Your high today, 61. I'm Ryan Hedrick. Here's what's trending at 9:02. You'd get a $300 tax credit as a homeowner if the property tax bill amended many times on Wednesday and the State House of Representatives passes. Some of the amendments surprised some lawmakers, like the one to dissolve the Union School District.
But the decision is being made now without any opportunity for the community to weigh in.
Representative Sue Arrington of Muncie, Democrat State Rep Greg Porter also reacted to the amendment.
We talk about giving tax relief, but yet and still you go in the left hand, but then on the right hand it's being taken out of that pocket also.
So far, the property tax bill has been changed 36 times. A final vote on the tax bill could come today. Governor Mike Braun says if it's at his desk as it's amended as of yesterday, he'll pass it. The flooding along the Ohio River in Clark County has affected more than 100 buildings so far. Emergency Management Director Gavin Hebner says it's nothing they haven't dealt with.
The last time we've seen something similar to this was 2018. Something like this is every 5-6 years.
And he says they've obeyed the warnings, and so far, luckily, nobody's been hurt or killed. Three kids were killed on Wednesday morning in an Amish buggy crash. They were all siblings. Here's Chris Davis.
If you can imagine the crash between a Mercedes and an Amish buggy, the buggy just doesn't have much of a chance. That happened about 8 o'clock Wednesday morning on Fur Road and 4th Roads, just south of Bremen in Marshall County. The coroner there identifies all of the kids as being from the Yoder family, 13-year-old Glenda Joe, 10-year-old Daryl, and 9-year-old Devin. The coroner says the driver of the Mercedes was not hurt. Investigators say the Mercedes slammed into the back of the Amish buggy and all of the kids were thrown out and died there at the scene. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And tickets for WNBA All-Star Weekend, which happens in July, go on sale on Saturday. I'm Ryan Hedrick on The Level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Now with traffic, here's Matt Bear.
Eastbound 70 Hancock County, Ryan. Eastbound 70 is reopened at Mountain Comfort Road. The traffic is cleared out. We are on the move. Looking at the east side, this is northbound 465 and slow around Washington Street. Northbound 6570 stop and go traffic from Michigan Street through the North Split out to Meridian Penn. Traffic sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
April showers can bring plumbing downers, and my friends at Hope Plumbing don't want you to get caught in a flood this spring. Make sure your sump pump is working properly to avoid any damage. During the month of April, call Hope Plumbing and get a free sump pump with the purchase of a new battery backup system. A sump pump is vital to protecting your home from heavy rains, so you don't want to delay in calling Hope Plumbing. The number 641-HOPE, that's 641-HOPE, or visit them online at hopeplumbing.com.
Ladies, most of us are exhausted and trying to figure out how to do it all. We just want rest. And if we're honest, a good long nap. What if I told you there's a better kind of rest? One that refreshes you and lets you operate out of overflow instead of exhausted leftovers. The Women of Life Church are seeking God and holy rest. Join us on April 26th for our annual women's event. Take a deep breath. Rest is waiting. For more information, go to lifechurchin.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
Now your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Cloudy skies to start off the day. We may see a little bit of sunshine peeking through later this afternoon. It's going to be a seasonable day with highs right around 62. Some scattered showers in southern Indiana tonight, lows near 38. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Tara Hastings for 93 WIBC.
It's up to 44 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey start right now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, we were promised a Broad Ripple 8, and we ended up with a Broad Ripple 3.
You're talking about SB1. So if you woke up this morning and you were watching your local TV station, you might have been told that SB1 passed the House. That is incorrect. Amendment 36 passed the House, and that was the amendment that Governor Mike Braun was very excited about. Now today, SB1 has its third reading in the House, and then if it passes today, then it goes to the Senate. But that's just to show you how complicated and convoluted this bill is and your state government, that a local TV news leader can't even get this correct. So the warning is, be careful where you get your news. That is why you have Kendall and Casey.
All right, so our goal today, we're going to the phone lines in a little bit and let you vent. We'll try to answer some of your questions. We're going to give it to you straight. We're going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because there's a little bit of all of this in what took place yesterday. And that is our goal today. We want you to be as informed as you possibly can be. We're obviously going to have opinions on some of these things. But this is the worst of everything government. It's so convoluted that nobody, as of right now, can even agree on exactly what it says. We'll get into that. And local, like you're saying, even local TV stations can't get it right.
They're misreporting.
Okay. So I want to start by prefacing everything I'm about to say, because full disclosure, I met with the governor for about an hour yesterday, shortly before they announced this agreement that came out. It's Amendment 36.
Yeah.
And the governor was very gracious. He was very kind. He listened. He was attentive. And I think he did that, and he alluded to some of this. And I'm not going to go into specifics of things that we talked about. I'm not going to violate that trust. But one of the things the governor wanted to make clear was there are a lot of good things. And he's right. There are a lot of good things that are going to happen as a result of this bill. Now, there's some not so good things, and we'll get into that too. And you are going to have every right to be disappointed, and we'll get into all that. But there are some good things that are going to happen that are going to save people money. And I think he wanted to make clear to me, to make clear to you, that the reason this is happening, the good things that are happening, are because of you, the listeners of this program, and the passion and energy that you have brought over the last year to this cause. And so I wanted to start the program today by pointing that out, that the governor went out of his way to listen to what I had to say, sort of a voice of all of us, and make sure that that message was relayed to our audience. All right. So you want to start with the good?
Yeah.
All right. So the good, quote unquote, in this bill is that there is property tax relief for most people. It'll be 10% for most people of whatever, and I'm simplifying a very complex thing, but it is basically 10% of whatever your property tax bill is. You will receive a credit on that bill. So it will come off of the bill. So and it's capped at $300. So if your annual property tax bill is $2,000, 10% of that is $200, that's your savings.
Yeah.
If your property tax bill is $3,000 or more, you're likely going to see $300, and that'll be your savings. It also includes all people now. So if you remember, the original bill is, hey, you had to have a 2021 property tax bill or before. This now takes that out. So new home construction.
Right. If you just built last year,
and
includes you.
So now you are in on the deal, Casey, where you were not in on the deal before.
I'm in on the deal now. However, my bill was over $3,500 for the year. So that 10%.
Right. I'm not disputing that. And we'll get to that. We'll get to that. But I'm
Yeah.
saying you would have got nothing under the previous bill. You are now getting something. Okay. It also, for seniors, many seniors, it will include an additional $150 in savings, or up to $150 in savings.
And that's very important because that is where this fight began.
Right. Okay. So that's the tippy top, the good stuff. Now, if you do the math on that, it is about 1/3 of what the governor initially proposed.
Correct.
The savings for most people, I did the math on my house, did the math on some other people's houses. It's about 1/3 of the savings that the governor proposed. So by that standard, I think it's very safe to say that the governor, not just on this radio program, but as recently as our rally a couple weeks ago, overpromised and underdelivered if this bill becomes law.
Which is exact opposite of what you want to do. You want to underpromise and overdeliver.
And you have every right to be frustrated with that because your engagement, your involvement, and what the governor had said he would accept does not really play out in terms of the actual savings. There is some savings. Something is better than nothing. Would you rather have $200 or not have $200, right? But it is not what he led people to believe, I think, that he would accept as part of any sort of deal. I think this is lower than most reasonable people would have thought he would accept.
So it seems to me that a lot of the negotiation came on the percentage of the savings.
It did.
That Amendment 36, they got it up to 10%. It was at, 7.5?
Yep.
So that's where the negotiation came in. And he said that he was proud to announce that with Amendment 36 to Senate Bill 1, they've agreed upon a plan to bring historic property tax relief to Hoosiers. Okay, they agreed. Hoosiers didn't agree to this. And I think that's some strong language to say that he is proud to bring this historic property tax. Those are some strong words.
Okay, let's talk about what else is in the bill. Braun's initial plan that he had proposed capped what your bill could go up at 2% if you were a senior or people with minor children, 3% for everyone else. This bill essentially caps the increase at 4%. So your bill will continue to go up under this bill. Your property taxes will continue to go up. So if you think about, let's say your bill has gone up $900 over the past, what was yours? That was your number, right?
It was $900.
$900. Let's say you get the $300 back. So you will be still paying $600 more, and now your bill will likely go up 4% every single year in perpetuity.
And I'm still only getting $300.
Now you're going to get the $300 every year, right? You're going to get that credit every year. I think I want to. I'm trying to be, and I'll lay in on opinions later on this, but I'm just trying to get everybody the information because it's so damn confusing. So it does do that. Your bill is. And so again, it's another example of Braun got something that he claimed he wanted, but he didn't get near what he proposed that he wanted. So the bills are now capped, but they're not capped at what he proposed they'd be capped at. So again, overpromise, underdeliver. The referendum language stays in the bill. So the referendums are now moving to, which is what was part of Braun's initial proposal. Referendums are now moving to general elections. So no more of these school corporations ramming these things through in primaries where people do not vote. It's gonna be harder to pass the referendums, which is a good thing. So kind of review the high level of and then we'll get into some more details on this because there are some important things and there are some important disputes. Number one, most people will see between $200 and $300 in a credit on their property tax bill. Seniors will likely see an additional $150-ish, depending on your situation. The bills will now be capped at 4%, and the referendum language change will stay in place. Also, one other thing that's important, they did take out the exemption on business personal property tax. They listened to that. They heard the outrage from our audience, and they said, that's right, business owners should not be getting this huge break while you're paying more. Now, they did eliminate a depreciation floor, but it's small potatoes compared to what they were doing before. So that is, why don't we take a break? Okay. That's the very high level of the bill. Now we're going to talk about where the confusion comes in.
And that's the fiscal with the lit.
And the governor and Houston and Thompson and all these people should be ashamed of themselves that they're running this thing out with all of this confusion going on. We will talk about that because that is a major point of contention about what's going on with this bill. All right?
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
The agenda is taking shape.
Since Inauguration Day.
From education to energy.
We will drill, baby, drill.
From the economy to the military.
We will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen.
Watch it unfold day by day.
My first day back.
First 100 days.
It's a tough job, but I've had a lot of tough jobs.
Follow the first 100 days on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Turning 65, new to Medicare, or just moved? If you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, a Humana Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan, a D-SNP, may give you the extra benefits you're looking for. A D-SNP helps cover things like prescriptions and checkups, but it also helps pay for essentials too. With a Humana D-SNP, you get $225 a month for eligible groceries, rent, utilities, and more. Plus, whatever you don't spend carries over to the next month. You may even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, or hearing coverage. All of this could make a difference for your health and wallet. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text ENERGY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ENRGY to 42424. That's ENERGY to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But this one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number, 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. Oh, one last number. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Right now, get Lincoln's employee pricing for everyone on most new Lincolns at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Navigators, up to $8,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, or up to $7,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Corsair at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. Navigator MSRP 105,575, Nautilus MSRP 6195, Corsair MSRP 47,820. Offers good through 4/30/2025. Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
I came in over 10 years ago and I couldn't breathe ever, and ever since then now I can breathe.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventNose.com.
Your future holds so much potential. The question is, are you planting the right seeds today to make it flourish? At Howard Bailey Financial, we strive to help you create a retirement plan that can adapt to your evolving needs, offering guidance to bring you clarity, confidence, and purpose along the way. Whether you're just beginning or refining your financial strategy, we're here to support you. Let's grow something lasting together. Text GROW to 888-262-1104 to start planning for your future full of possibility. That's GROW to 888-262-1104. Take the first step today. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Very appropriate, Kevin.
The good, the bad, the ugly. Yes, we're talking about SB1, the property tax relief bill.
It is Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. All right, so last segment we laid out to you, and our goal today is to give you information because these lawmakers have done a horrible job because it's a 368-page bill.
Yeah, right.
And
I don't even know if they understand it completely.
And by the way,
Seemed like from the questions yesterday they did not.
No, they don't. So we're going to get to it. So we laid out what's actually in the bill that I can tell you with the straight face is in the bill, which is there's a 10% reduction in property tax credit capped out at $300. Seniors will likely get an additional $150, most seniors. And there is a cap on what your bill can go up to 4%. And the referendum language has changed. Now, this is where every one of these people, first of all, they should be ashamed of themselves that this is all they're giving you. But this is where they should really be ashamed because there is no consensus or agreement on what is going on with local income taxes. They are about to vote. They voted on a bill yesterday, the House, and the governor signed off on a bill that there is no consensus on what is actually going on with local income taxes. I have talked to multiple members of the media. We're going to talk to Nikki Kelly coming up with this. There's a new fiscal note out now that is still just as blurry as the first one. So here's what happened, and here's where the confusion is. They come out with this statement earlier this week before the governor was involved, and they're talking about how there's changes to what is lit, local income taxes. And Thompson said in the initial 1402 hearing, Jeff Thompson, head of Ways and Means, that there were going to be new ways for, I forget how he worded it, but essentially it was new tax increases if we do this property tax stuff. And one of the things he specifically referenced was local income tax. They were going to be able to raise revenue through local income tax. That's a tax increase.
Raise revenue is code for taxes.
Thompson came out and said that in the nonsensical gobbledygook that he did in that 1402 hearing weeks ago. They then came out this week and they talk specifically about new opportunities, or however they worded it, right? New ways for them to raise your taxes. And one of the things that they mentioned, it was the local income tax and the Indiana Capital Chronicle. In fact, we read the direct quote from the Indiana Capital Chronicle. I'm trying to find it here real quick. Senate Bill 1 would now let counties increase their local income taxes. Key, right? Senate Bill 1 would now let counties increase their local income taxes and for the first time, allow cities to implement their own local income taxes. Under a massive amendment adopted Monday, counties would be able to levy an income tax up to 2.9%, up from the current 2.5% cap, while cities could go up to 1.2%. That seems very clear when they wrote this, and other media outlets covered it the same way, that the local income tax was going up, right?
Correct.
And the cities and towns could now do this where they couldn't before. So the argument was, what's the point of the property tax reform if you're just going to let these people raise your taxes? Well, then they came out yesterday, and they were like, no,
it's going down.
Yeah, that's not correct. That local stuff is a part of the county stuff. Well, that wasn't reported here anywhere. So then I started talking to multiple members of the media who read this stuff for a living, including Nikki Kelly. And they're like, we have no idea. It's the fiscal note, which is the thing they go by. The fiscal note, the lawmakers are supposed to go by, crafted by the people who work for the lawmakers, said in the fiscal note, local income taxes will go up. And so you present that to these guys, and they go, no. That's not right. They got that wrong. What the hell? You don't even know what's going on? Your legislative services agency who writes the stuff for you guys, you were in such a hurry to get this out. You put so little time into it that they can't even get the fiscal note right on what's going on. And then the governor, on top of this, signs off on something where there's not even an agreement about what's going on with local income taxes. What the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, to me, I read it multiple times. You and I went back and forth multiple times. Is this an increase or a decrease? And I said, Rob, this is an increase in taxes. To me, it reads as a recipe for counties on how much they can tax. What it is a roadmap for them to get more of your money.
Okay, so then I talked to multiple state lawmakers last night, including someone who's voting for the bill. Okay, so it's not like somebody that's on our team in terms of who I was talking to. I talked to multiple people, one who may or may not vote for it and one who's voting for it. And they both said, yes, it appears to me that this new amendment will still raise local income tax. Then one of the other lawmakers came back to me at about 2 a.m. last night. He's like, I've been up for 5 hours reading this. He goes, now I think it may go down.
I think, maybe, I don't know.
But the point is, nobody knows for sure. And look, I expect this from the lawmakers because I know they're not on our team. Who I'm pissed off at is the governor. I'm pissed off at the governor who's supposed to be on our team who signed on to this crap where they can't get their story straight on what it does. Now, the governor's issued a statement on this. I'll read it because I want to be as fair as I can be with this. And I'll read you this statement, okay?
Yep.
I have heard from several Hoosiers since my property tax deal was announced yesterday who are concerned about the local income tax provisions in the bill. Let me be clear. I agreed to a deal that delivers meaningful property tax cuts, eliminates the proposed full phase-out of business personal property taxes, and cuts the total income tax rate by 23% from 3.75 to 2.9. This deal puts a cap on how much locals can tax your income. Without this bill, they could tax your income even more. I trust the deal I described above is what is in the amendment the House passed yesterday. But I have our team going through line by line to verify all of the language matches the deal. Why didn't you do this before you agreed to it?
Exactly. So I put this whole thing through.
Wait, let me finish this.
Okay.
If we find errors or it doesn't do what I agreed to, then I am confident the House and Senate will make the needed edits to honor the deal before I allow it to become law. What is that?
What's going on? Just veto the damn thing. If you don't understand it, if you think there's errors in it, and you're still talking about send it to my desk for my signature. What? No.
Look, and again, I'm not going to get into intricate details about what I talked to the governor about, but I will tell you this because I don't think I'm breaking any trust or saying anything that people don't know. I told him very directly, veto this bill. I said, this is a bad bill, and people are going to rage when you announce that you've come out and this is the best you got. And I think I said this on the air, so I don't think I'm breaking any trust. I also said, this is a major issue. This local income tax thing is a major issue. And you know why it's a major issue now? Not even because it's maybe going up, but because nobody knows. The guy that was supposed to be on our team signs off on a deal without any sort of consensus on what's actually going on. What sort of dedication to the taxpayers is that? Couldn't you have waited 3 days and told your team, hey, we got a real issue here on whether people can agree on this or not? Lawmakers don't agree on it, so sure the hell the governor should have known there's a lack of consensus. Well, he knew. I knew. I told him.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes out and makes this announcement before you have a definitive on what's going on. And now what? Now we're supposed to trust these lawmakers who wouldn't give us the time of day, who wouldn't come to our rally, who wouldn't acknowledge that we even exist as humans, who wouldn't return our emails or phone calls. Oh, when they did, they were just like, Rob Kendall's just making it all up. We're supposed to believe now what they're going to have our backs and change this?
I've got some thoughts, and we'll get to yours coming up on 93 WIBC.
Yeah, let's be honest. How much does it hurt to look at your investments right now? You know, there's a way you could make up for those losses. When you invest $200,000 or more, you get an upfront 20% bonus from Bill Demery. You'll also earn an annual return that's averaged nearly 10% for the past 10 years. And you're going to sleep well knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world.
Learn more by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, my retirement guy, 317-648-5120. Get an upfront 20% bonus on your deposit. 20% bonus. Earn an annual return that's averaged nearly 10% for the last decade. And sleep well knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
First-degree murder and terrorism. You have a clear radar, and it's 42 degrees in downtown Indianapolis. Your high today, 62. I'm Ryan Hedrick. Here's what's trending at 9:31. Those are the charges faced by the man who police say tried to kill then-Republican candidate President Donald Trump.
Attempting to take the life of a former president and a leading presidential candidate isn't just an attack on one man. This was a political attack against our Republican form of government and our shared American values.
Florida's Attorney General talking about Ryan Ruth. Ruth is already facing federal charges, and he's facing additional state charges in Florida for attempted felony murder related to a traffic crash that killed a 6-year-old girl. House Republicans trying to limit the power federal judges have to issue nationwide injunctions. GOP lawmakers passed a bill Wednesday, mostly along party lines, that would make it so judges could only provide orders that apply to the parties directly involved in a case, except in certain situations. Cousin's Maine Lobster rolls back into Fort Wayne this morning, serving its popular seafood from 11 to 7 since appearing on Shark Tank. The business has expanded nationwide with restaurants and trucks across the U.S. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. All three major indices open down. The Dow is down 519 points to 40,608.45. The S&P down 88 to 54,56.9, and the NASDAQ is down 402 points to 19,145.6. I'm Ryan Hedrick, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm a proud owner of B-Window.
I'm a proud B-Window owner.
I'm a proud B-Window owner.
When you work with a local, employee-owned home improvement company like B-Window, quality comes first because your home improvements are a reflection of our business. And for a limited time, we're extending our employee discount to you, up to 55% off all products and services, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust local, trust employee-owned, trust your home to be.
Trust me.
So what's in the bag today? Yesterday's leftovers? Another lunch meat sandwich? Well, go ahead and pull up a rock and settle in for a half hour of I wish I was eating something else. Or you could be eating something else, or someplace else. If you're brown bagging it at the corner of 30th and Shadeland area, drop over to His Place Eatery for 30 minutes of, why didn't I know about this place sooner? Nothing fancy, not a lot of frills. They save that for the quality of the meal. Like ribs that fall off the bone, southern fried chicken, sides that will cause your taste buds to thank you into tomorrow. Put that in your brown bag and eat it. Better yet, bank the bag. Go to His Place Eatery at the corner of 30th and Shadeland, or the newest location off 86th and Ditch Road. Your dirty boots and work clothes are welcome here. His Place, your place for lunch. Go to hisplaceeatery.com to learn more.
All right, so let's continue to do the job the lawmakers will not do, and now the governor will not do, which is try to make some sense of what's going on with this property tax bill. And I feel like we've been very fair on this thus far, which is the good things in it. We came out of the gate with those. There is some property tax relief. It is a fraction of what the governor led you to believe he was going to get or sell for nothing less, right? It's 10% of your bill, which is about a third of what he had initially proposed for most people in their bill. He wanted a cap of 2 to 3% your bill could go up. He's getting 4%. He took that deal.
Yeah.
It does have the referendum reform language, which is good. It is basically mirrors what he had in Senate Bill 1, which moves these referendums to the general election. All right, let's talk about the danger of this bill, and let's talk about what's going to happen because of this bill. In the initial bill, I'm going to use my house as an example. Okay? I would have saved about $600 annually off of the original proposal for the governor. And there were no income tax increases as part of that. By the way, if you missed last segment, one of the major issues with this bill, and one of the things people are super pissed off about, is the local income tax language. There is no consensus right now on what it actually does. The initial fiscal note said it raises it. That is the official document done by people who are hired and paid by the state of Indiana. The Legislative Services Agency said it goes up. At no point did Thompson or Houston or any of those people who did that press conference raise their hand and go, no, that's wrong. We gotta fix that. We gotta adjust that. And multiple media outlets across the state reported this, and nobody raised their hand and said, no, that's incorrect. That's not what it does. Thompson said in the 1402 hearing, initially, they're going to get other revenue sources, or however he worded it. It's tax increases, right? And now they come out and go, no. The governor's office, he's coming and go, no. That's not right. It goes down. Well, your fiscal note says it goes up. Well, now there's a new fiscal note. I've not had a chance to read it because we're on the air. Nikki Kelly, who we'll talk to coming up at 10:15, has read it and said, it's no more clear than the last one.
Right.
So the governor puts out a statement, goes, well, I won't sign a bill that the lit goes up, and the Senate and House will fix it. Based on what, Mr. Governor?
Yeah.
You've already signed on to this amendment. You've already said the amendment was great. You signed on to an amendment without knowing what the thing actually does?
He was proud. It was historic.
He looks like a total fool right now, and I told him not to do it yesterday, to sign the bill, because all of these things were not worked out. And so maybe the lit does go down, but this is how our government operates, where the governor can't even get on the same page with the Legislative Services Agency?
Yeah. I got to wonder if the Senate is going to get this bill back and be like, yeah, no, hands off. We're not touching this thing.
Well, okay, so let's talk about why this lit is important, though, because it's the amount of local income taxes, local governments. This bill will dictate the amount of local income taxes they can take from you. Well, so many local governments are currently not maxing out their lit, the ability of lit that they can take, because they get so much from property taxes. Well, if you take away their ability to get the money from property taxes, they're not taking the money because they don't want to have a certain amount of money. They're not taking it because they can get so much currently from property taxes. What they will immediately do
is max out the lit.
Whatever that number is. They will find every resource possible to take this money. Because in this bill, Casey, there is zero local government reform. There is nothing that reforms these local governments or fixes this systemic cancer that is causing this issue with the property taxes.
Right, and that's why they keep saying it's a glide path. We don't know where we're going to land. We can't say specifically because it is what the potential of the max that they could take is. Like I said, this is a recipe for the local government to get their money. It's a roadmap for them. It's almost like instructions. Hey, local government, this is how you're going to do it. Now, nothing is done yet. Anything can happen. They've got the third reading today. We'll see if it gets out of the House and then onto the Senate. The Senate said, you know what? We're just, they took things out of the bill and then they turned it over to the House, and the House tried to reinvent the whole damn thing. But I feel really disappointed, Rob. I feel like I've been lied to, like I've been used. It seems like it's a tax hike in disguise. And, saying one thing and doing another, that's manipulation.
Okay, so I don't mean to, you're clearly in a very good mood, so I don't mean to put a damper on the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the news gets worse. All right, are you ready? Okay, so let me tell you, is there anybody better in the state of Indiana than reading the tea leaves when it comes to government telling you what's going to happen? No, right? That's why we are where we are. So what will now happen? Because when I was getting a $600 tax decrease under the original bill, and no income tax increase, I knew my local school corporation, who I've beaten once before, and I will gladly beat them again.
Correct. You know how to beat a referendum.
Was going to sprint for the referendum. But at $600 a year, that's a fight worth having for me. What's going to happen now is I'm going to get about $230.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a chance my income tax is going to go up because they can't agree on what's going on with this local income tax. So my income tax is going to probably go up because if they can't agree, it very rarely comes down on. It's like the game of Monopoly. There's one that always works. The yellow cards are usually in your chest, and chance is against.
Mm-hmm.
We're drawing the chance card in Monopoly. Well, most of the chance cards don't work out in your favor in Monopoly, and it's not going to work out in our favor with this local income tax. So there's a good chance our local income tax is going to go up in some shape, form, or fashion because they can't agree on what it says. And then the school corporation is going to go for a referendum. And that's, for most people, a pick 'em. They're like 50-50 whether they pass or fail. So you're likely going to end up in a world in a suburban community where you'll get $250 or $300 back. Your school corporation is going to go for a referendum if they don't already have one. 50-50 shot that passes. If that passes, it's probably going to eat up most of the $250 to $300 you're going to save. And then your income taxes are going to go up. So you're going to pay more in total taxes. And then your taxes are still going to go up every year on your property tax bill because they've got that 4% levy threshold, or essentially bill threshold, which means you'll pay the same amount of taxes or more, and your taxes keep going up every year. That is why this bill should have been vetoed by the governor and sent to the pits of hell and burned and never seen again.
You can, how many fronts are you going to fight this on? Because you could potentially fight the referendum and win. But are you also going to fight the referendum and your county council? I mean, look at the jokers we've got in the Indy Common Council.
Because this was the argument that Thompson tried to make under his nonsensical Mr. Mackey bullcrap when he presented 1402, is that he's separating the money. Before, it's all in one pot, and you don't know who's who. That's fair. But now I have a pretty good deal going on in my community because I beat a school referendum and then struck a deal with my school system on the parameters of ever seeking a referendum going forward. And because of those parameters that were put in place and the fabulous job somebody did in that community with commercial growth, there's so much money flowing in, I really don't have to worry about a referendum right now. But if this deal goes through, every year I'm going to be worried about that because these school systems are looking for a reason to do these referendums. And because the only actual referendum reform is when you can seek a referendum, you're right, Casey. Now I'm going to have to fight the Hendricks County Council to not raise my lit. I'm going to have to fight the Brownsburg Town Council. How do you think that's going to go on not raising my income tax? And I'm likely eventually going to have to fight the school system again on a referendum. This deal sucks for me, and it's going to end up sucking for most of you. Most of you will eventually, over time, see your taxes go up because there's rather meaningless actual return in terms of money to you, and there's no actual reform to the system itself that is causing this disease.
Okay, so Governor Braun, he brought everyday Hoosiers to the State of the State address, and he said that he was a fighter. He rolled up his sleeves. He was going to veto. I mean, these are all the things that he said. He was the one who said it was a priority. He was the one who said that he was going to fight. He was the one who made it his signature campaign issue. He was the one who told lawmakers to make it SB1, the priority. And now what happens? Oh, there's an error in there. We'll change that error. I'm going to fight. We'll see it through. See it all the way through then. And if it's not good, just veto it. Move on. I mean, I can't believe that this is going to get to the Senate and they're going to say, yeah, we want our names on this.
Well, so coming up next, should we do our musical tribute? We have a musical tribute to the Senate because they're now the hope to kill the bill, which is what you should probably be rooting for, in terms of when you take everything as, and maybe I mean, is anything I've said here, like as I'm laying it out, because in my mind, I've spent hours, I've basically spent 24 hours now, working through this in my mind and trying to get all the facts and all the data. And I think I've been pretty fair in presenting what the bill actually is and then trying to work through with our audience. In my mind, the highs. By the way, where's Micah Beckwith?
Micah won because he was supposed to be the voice of the people. He was supposed to stand up to Braun if Braun didn't stand with Hoosiers. So,
now, has he tweeted about this? Has he said anything?
Not since last night. I haven't checked this morning.
He told me last night, he said that he urged the governor to veto the bill on Friday that was presented, and that he's still digesting or gathering information on what happened yesterday. Well, Micah, you're the lieutenant governor. You get paid to do this. I get paid $0 to do this, and I was up until 2 a.m. last night talking with media people, lawmakers, people who understand this stuff. So I've formed an opinion on this. So I would like the lieutenant governor who ran on this, who won on this issue, to please have an opinion today on this and offer a voice. Good, bad, or indifferent. Maybe you think it's great. Maybe you think Rob's wrong. Maybe Rob's way off on everything. Maybe you think the lit thing is perfect. We're going on 24 hours. I would like the guy, maybe if he could put the Cybertruck down, maybe get out of the Tahoe and have an opinion one way or another, because right now the opinion is I told him to veto it on Friday, which is great. That's wonderful advice by Micah. That's his official statement. I would like today for everybody to have an opinion on this, because I think a lot of people are about to get screwed. And if I'm wrong, please tell me. Lay it out for me.
We want to be wrong.
I will gladly eat crow and go, man, I was totally wrong on that.
Yeah, we blew that one. Boy, we would love to say that.
So I love Micah, and he's been a great voice on this. He's pushed and
he has been fighting on this nonstop.
But he needs to issue
until today.
Well, right, yesterday, right?
Yesterday.
Okay, so we have a musical tribute to the Senate because they are now the last hope likely to stop this monstrosity.
I can't believe you just said that.
Well, it's right. I told you. Remember when you signed on here, I said it's going to be a wild and wacky roller coaster adventure. And we'll play our musical tribute to the Senate when we come back.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show 306 this afternoon. Property tax bill. Sounds like a stinker. Rob Kendall off the rails. And a lot of laughs. We'll talk this afternoon.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, design. The design development, getting all the documents together and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Boer Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Boer Remodeling today. BOOHER. BoerRemodeling.com. That's BoerRemodeling.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're pressed for time, the WIBC Mashup Podcast is your shortcut to the smartest, sharpest, and strangest moments on air. It's the best content from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Updated daily. Find the WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, we've got a musical tribute to the Senate coming up. They're kind of our last hope on this. In the meantime, we think here in a little bit we're going to open up the phone lines next hour.
Mhm.
It'll be Rage in the Cage Day for you to let your thoughts on the property tax bill come out. But in the meantime, if you'd like to send Governor Braun an email and let him know what you think of him signing the bill, it's Governor Mike Braun at gov.in.gov, right?
Correct.
Governor Mike Braun at gov.in.gov. Because nothing's final yet. Braun could be visited by the ghost of enraged taxpayers past, present, and future. And like Ebenezer Scrooge, shout out, I'll change, and then buy us all toys and a turkey on Christmas morning.
Somebody had said that they felt like we were being punished because we complained about property taxes in the first place. Doesn't it seem like that? Oh, you wanna complain? You wanna have a rally? Well, guess what we're gonna do?
Yeah, Governor Mike Braun at gov.in.gov. All right, so the bill will now likely pass the House today. It will go to the Senate, and they will be really the last chance. And now, Harry Chapin once sang, "All my life's a circle, sun up and sundown," right? And so, all my life's a circle. Now, the Senate weirdly becomes the last chance to kill this bill, which they should, Casey, based on the fact that during all the Senate Bill 1 hearing, we heard from the Republicans, they were so concerned with the poor singing orphans of local government,
right?
And the fact that they were going to lose even $1 of revenue.
Correct.
We heard from Holdman and Baldwin and all of these people. Well, now they're going to lose $1.4 billion. And the schools are going to be the big loser because unlike the local governments, they don't have lit. So if indeed Baldwin and Clark and Thompson...
That was the real
but
reason. They
Holdman,
can't stand by it, can they?
There's no way. Everybody should now be emailing your senator, again, life coming full circle, emailing them and going, hey, you need to stand up for the schools, veto this bill. I'm serious. How could they possibly sign this bill after they gave this sob story after sob story after sob story of Spind and Sue Finkham and the mayor of Terre Haute and the policemen and the firemen and all the money they were going to lose.
More than anything, we hope you're just realizing what a convoluted, twisted, complicated mess property taxes in the state of Indiana are.
Yeah, and how these people are all just liars.
Yeah,
they don't mean anything. They're all hypocritical, disingenuous liars. Because if Baldwin and Holdman and Clark and Gaskell and all these guys vote for this bill, they're going to be going back on everything they told you when they gutted Senate Bill 1. Because if you weren't concerned about the lost revenue, why'd you take out Braun's bill reset? Oh, so you're only concerned with screwing schools a little, Senator Holdman? And boy, think about if you're Baldwin, you've got all these, you run a company's got all these government contracts. You're going to be really hurting those people, right? I mean, you wouldn't want to do that.
Right.
So in honor of the poor singing orphans having their funding life on the line, all the schools and the counties and the cities and the mayors, I went deep back in the vault. You remember the show 3.5 Men?
Yeah.
Great show, #1 show on TV. John Lovitz played a reoccurring character on 3.5 Men. So Charlie Harper was the main character, Charlie Sheen, right? And he was a jingle writer in Hollywood. That's what he did for a job. John Lovitz, who always plays the same character every movie or whatever he's in, an obnoxious, loud guy, is his rival jingle writer. Like, they compete for all the contracts and the awards and all of these things. And so it was a great, great character. And at one time they go to this jingle writing awards show, and John Lovitz is the featured act at the jingle awards show, and he wrote a song for the orphans.
Right.
It was a song about giving money to help the orphans.
The poor orphans.
And so I thought, in honor of the Senate being the last chance to save the poor singing orphans of local government, that we would play a little bit of John Lovett's tribute to the orphans.
Don't do it for me. Don't do it for you. Do it for little Kim Sung and the Boo. Yeah, save the orphans. Come on, everybody. Save the orphans. The tax deductible. Save the orphans. Get them while they're still cute. Save the orphans. Get them young, teach them your tongue. Save the orphans. Woody Allen can't marry them all. Save the orphans. Some of them don't even have parents. Save the orphans. Get two, get one free. Save the orphans.
So to Scott Baldwin, Travis Holdman, Buck, all you guys, you got to save the orphans. You are the last chance to save these poor singing orphans of local government. If you vote for this, Mooresville's going to turn out the lights.
You don't want that to
the
happen.
Mooresville school system is going to turn out the lights. And that Lafayette Township trustee is going to lose 7 firemen. Or just not hire 7 firemen.
Right. Yeah, semantics.
These people, they all suck. All you people suck. You're all rotten. You're all awful. And it's Rage in the Cage Day, baby. Kev, are our phone lines ready to go?
I believe so. I just got to give him a quick test.
Next hour, we're probably going to take phone calls to let you sound off.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Are you dealing with foot, knee, hip, or back pain? Well, it sounds like you could use a spring in your step. Hi, this is Phoebe with the Good Feet store, and I've got just the thing to help you spring forward into comfort. Good Feet's unique, patented 3-step arch support system is designed to reduce pressure on your joints to keep you feeling energized all day long, even when you're running on an hour's less sleep. With less pressure on your joints, you'll also experience less pain and discomfort too. When you visit the Good Feet store, we'll take time with you to figure out what you need on your free personalized fitting. You can also take all the time you need to walk in-store to feel the Good Feet difference personalized for your feet, your shoes, and your lifestyle. Most of our customers say they feel relief immediately, and you can too. Make your appointment today at goodfeet.com. Don't just live with the pain. Discover your options and spring into comfort at the Good Feet store. Come in today for your free personalized fitting and test walk. We're in your neighborhood. Visit goodfeet.com to find the location nearest to you.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. The best dealers in the region will be at the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show. Just $6 for adults. Kids 12 and under get in free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Tippecanoe County Fairgrounds in Lafayette. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
At Diamonds Direct, we believe luxury is an experience and not a price tag. Luxury is expert guidance. It's the selection of 10 jewelry stores under one roof. It's saving time on endless comparison shopping, and you'll only find this experience at Diamonds Direct. Our luxury showroom has it all backed by our lifetime warranties and our signature best price guarantee. Diamonds Direct is the perfect combination of luxury and value, so you don't ever have to compromise. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Right now, get Lincoln's employee pricing for everyone on most new Lincolns at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Navigators, up to $8,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, or up to $7,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Corsair at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. Navigator MSRP $105,575, Nautilus MSRP $61,995, Corsair MSRP $47,820. Offers good through 4/30/2025. Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Your local news after Fox News. From the Technology Recycler Studios, you're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Stock surge in years reacting to President Trump pausing most new tariffs, and more on that in a moment. He just reacted to something else. The president posting on Truth Social, inflation is down in all caps. Here's Fox's Ginny Casola.
Economists were expecting some improvement in the consumer price index in March, but the numbers came in much better than forecast.
Prices actually dropped 0.1% last month from February for the first time in nearly 5 years. And the annual inflation rate dropped from 2.8% down to 2.4% last month. Now back to the tariffs. The European Union's paused its retaliation for the same 90 days as the Trump pause. The president, though, increased tariffs on just imports from China to 125%. Top White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett tells Fox.
What's going on right now with China is that the ships that are filled with Chinese products don't know where to go. They're stuck in port.
A vote looms in the House in a matter of minutes.
This morning, I believe we had the votes to finally adopt the budget resolution so we can move forward on President Trump's very important agenda for the American people.
House Speaker Mike Johnson postponed a vote last night. Still needed to get some conservative holdouts on board, approving the Senate's budget blueprint with funding for border security and other Trump agenda items, including extending the president's 2017 tax cuts. Those GOP holdouts have been calling for much bigger spending cuts, too. An American jailed in Russia set free this morning.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirmed the news, writing on X, quote, American Ksenia Karolina is on a plane back home to the United States. She was wrongfully detained by Russia for over a year, and President Trump secured her release. Karolina was arrested in February of 2024 in Yekaterinburg during a visit to see her family. She was jailed for donating about $50 to a charity supporting Ukraine.
That's Fox's Alex Hogan. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
The State House has been busy. Sunny Thursday ahead for you. 47 in downtown Indy, high of 61. I'm Kylan Talley. Here's what's trending at 10:02. You may have heard about the property tax bill. Kendall and Casey have been talking about it and the debating, passing, and defeating of some amendments that the House of Representatives and its members made on Wednesday. A final vote on this property tax bill is expected today. One of the amendments that passed, which was endorsed by Governor Mike Braun, was Amendment 36 and would provide for a $300 tax credit each year for property owners. One of the executive orders Governor Mike Braun signed yesterday was about helping former inmates look for work. Jake McDaniel reports about the other executive order.
Braun signed this order to focus on improving employee retention with the Department of Correction by promoting training, talking about job stress, and using data to identify areas for improvement. The Indiana Department of Correction employees supervise thousands of inmates in many facilities. Officers experience high levels of stress while working because of the demanding qualities. Braun says he wants to do everything he can to avoid that. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana Department of Health said this Wednesday that there were 5 additional people confirmed to have the measles.
That brings the total number of people infected with measles to 6 in 2025. I'm John Herrick. The newly reported infections are 3 minors and 2 adults in Allen County. The initial case was reported earlier this week. The department says all 6 people infected are connected to each other, but at this time they do not believe there are any links to outbreaks in other states. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You may have seen the shots from a helicopter of flooding along the Ohio River.
We're primarily seeing flooding in the town of Utica, the Bushmans and Rivers Edge community, and there some in Jeffersonville, along with the backwater flooding of the Silver Creek and the Blackston Mill and Sellersburg areas.
Emergency Manager Gavin Hebner. They are expecting the crest today there and in Evansville into the end of the week. Today, Notre Dame football fans can meet standout players and view iconic trophies. You're invited to Dick's Sporting Goods in Mishawaka from 2 to 7 p.m. to take photos with the college football playoff Sugar Bowl and Orange Bowl trophies. Players Jeremiah Love, Christian Gray, along with Leonard Moore and others will be available for photos and autographs from 5:30 to 6:30 this evening, again in Mishawaka. WIBC News Time, 10:04 this Thursday morning. I'm Kylan Talley on The Level on the Go and on WIBC.com.
Come on, Indy. Don't use the spring to paint your house year after year. Do what Deanna did. She called Rhino Shield.
I was noticing some cracks and the paint's faded. I was like, okay, I think I should get my house painted. So my neighbor had a Rhino Shield placard in the yard. And after they were finished, I was just, wow. With the warranty and everything, it just seemed silly not to go that route.
The ceramic coating of Rhino Shield is specifically formulated for our climate.
So the Rhino Shield crew came out. Nothing was damaged in the process. I was very happy. They just didn't leave a mess. You couldn't even tell they were there. And the house looked so different. It just looked like a new home.
Backed by a 25-year transferable warranty. And now get the protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
Rhino Shield, I think it increases the value and the curb appeal of your home. Definitely worth it.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey, I've got great news.
Oh, good. What's that, Rob?
Look, you're still getting screwed on this property tax deal.
That's not great news.
But
yeah,
my first guy I bet on is teed off at the Masters, and he birdied the first hole.
How is that great news for me?
Joaquin Neiman, 1 under through 1.
Is it good news for me because you'll be in a better mood?
Oh, our happiness is tied in together. But yeah, no. You should still be generally miserable because you got screwed. Well, okay. You got overpromised and underdelivered. Yes, I want to be fair, right? I mean, I'm pissed off, obviously. But there are some good things in this property tax bill. But everybody is right. And I told the governor yesterday, people are going to be very, very upset. And he's going to hear about it, that he signed off on a bill that dramatically underdelivered what he led the people to believe. Now, there is property tax relief. There are changes to the will probably put more money in your pocket initially. I think it's going to cost you a lot of money over time, potentially, as do many other people. But in terms of a property tax refund, you're going to get about 10% of your bill up to $300.
Resetting property taxes to 2021 levels and then capping at 3% is what Mike Braun promised.
Yes.
Okay.
2% for me because I got a kid.
Yeah, that's true. And many people are saying that they voted for him because he said he was going to have meaningful property tax relief. And this feels more like a smoke and mirrors proposition to hide increases.
Well, he took a bad deal.
The lit was never part of anything that he discussed. And that's a huge issue with a lot of people.
So lit.
Reasonably so.
Look, because I know we have new people tuning in all the time. Local income tax. And there is a very, very intense disagreement right now. Not amongst me. Like, I'm talking about people in the House who aren't clear on it. The governor has made a statement on it, but he's not backing it up with any, like, there's not a PowerPoint presentation or a one-pager or whatever. And the media is in disagreement on it about what happens to local income taxes under this bill. And there were two things I thought the governor should have done before he came out in support of this bill. And neither one of them happened, and I think it is a huge reason he is getting raged on today. Which, by the way, we're planning on at 10:30 opening the phones if you want to call and have your voice heard, and maybe we'll do it throughout the rest of the program. One thing he should have done, first of all, is get the very clear understanding on what was happening with the local income tax. If it goes down, show what it was before, what it is now, how it goes down. Boom. That should have been before. Also, he should have gone out before agreeing to this bill, or as part of agreement to this bill, and tell people what his roadmap is for next year with property taxes and local government and how this bill lays the foundation for that. Hey, it's not everything we wanted, because what Daniels did, and everybody, the people in Braun's camp are pitching this to people like, well, it took Daniels 4 years to get property tax reform. But Mitch laid a clear foundation to the point by year 4, he had the legislature, because he had such public buy-in, he had the legislature over a barrel. And he went to them and he said, you have two options. You can either do local government reform or you can do property tax caps. Pick your poison. And they took the property tax caps because he had laid a clear foundation with years of buildup that there was public buy-in on. And Braun did not do any of that in his statement. He just said, I agree to this bill. It's historic. Well, there's tons of problems with this bill.
Yeah.
And you're not fulfilling he still would not be fulfilling his pledge to the taxpayers, but at least we could look at it and go, okay, this is step one. Here's what we get next year if we agree to step one. It isn't the whole apple, not even half the apple, but it lays the foundation for A, B, C, and D to happen next year. He has not done any of that. And a lot of people now, and rightfully so, are concerned, you're going to agree to this, and you're going to say, wash my hands. I've done property tax reform.
So he came out today and he said this deal puts a cap on how much locals can tax your income. And without this bill, they could tax your income even more. And that he trusts the deal he describes will be passed. And if there are errors or if it doesn't do what he agreed to, then he'll have the House and Senate make needed edits.
What they weren't listening to you this entire time. Now what? You're going to point at them and go, do it, and they're just going to go, yes, sir? They didn't listen to you this entire time. How are you going to make them do anything? Jeff Thompson appeared, one thing he appeared to be very clear on, of all the Chinese, he sounded like a Chinese man
on LSD.
On LSD throughout most of that. But one thing he was pretty clear on, and I heard it, you watched it, Casey, was that there were new tax increase opportunities for local governments. He appeared very clear on that, and that appeared to be in throughout this entire bill. And Braun, thus far, is the only person who came out and said, no, that's not what's happening. So the governor has done it's like Scrooge. You've done this to yourself. Mr. Governor, you've done this to yourself, because you were so quick to say okay that you didn't get all the ducks in a row, and now people are pissed. Now people are more mad. This sounds crazy, Casey. People are more mad, at least yesterday, in the wake of this announcement than they were at Holcomb during COVID. People are more mad at Braun yesterday from the base and the people that we interact with, which is a very large swath of people, than they were at Holcomb during COVID. Because at least with Holcomb, you knew what a scumbag that guy was. You knew.
That's what I'm saying. You feel like you were manipulated or gaslit.
Yeah, people believe they were lied to by the governor. And I expressed that sentiment to him that people were going to feel very let down. And look, I want to.
That's what I said. I feel like I've been lied to, like I've been used.
I don't think Braun. I want to say this. I think Braun is a guy with his heart in the right place who's taking a bad deal. I don't think Braun's Holcomb. I think Braun's done a lot of things that proves he's not Holcomb. I think he's a guy with his heart in the right place who feels like he's got to do something. And so he's taking a deal to provide some money to people.
2/3.
1/3. Well, yeah, you're right. 2/3.
What if you're part of the 1/3?
Well, right, you're totally screwed. And that's why I said, look, I'm the veto. I've been the veto the whole time. And I think he's a guy with his heart in the right place who still has time to change his mind. And if he hears from enough of us, it's Governor Mike Braun at gov.in.gov. If you want to email him, Governor Mike Braun at gov.in.gov. And we'll open the phone lines up through much of the rest of the show. Because
what time are they voting today?
I don't know. I have to. That's one thing I didn't check. I don't know.
Okay.
So they'll try to get it off their plate as fast as possible.
Oh, they've already have. No, I'm kidding.
They very well may have. Who knows with these guys?
It's probably either at 10:30 or 1:30.
All right.
That's when they typically
so
do
we want to
it.
give some more time than we normally do to open up the phones. But Nikki Kelly's going to join us next. So you don't have to take our word for us on how there is no consensus on what's going on with local income tax. Nikki Kelly covers this better than anybody else in the state. She's a very fair, honest broker, and we will ask her, does she understand what's going on with the local income tax?
Right. She's on the way next. It's 93 WIBC.
Life moves fast.
Another new directive from Donald Trump.
President Trump will not be deterred to make our federal government more efficient.
So does the news.
We expect those meetings to take place very soon.
Decisions made today.
I'm not a big fan of the Atlantic.
No threats to national security.
Could impact you tomorrow.
Accountability and transparency.
What's next?
You never know what's going to happen.
Need to know what happened.
We're already tracking it. Stay in the know while you're on the go on 93 WIBC.
If you have a snoring problem or sleep apnea, odds are you have blockage in both your throat and your nose. Now, for those who've gone elsewhere and wonder why their issues aren't getting better, this is where the problem lies. Because the true root of your problem very well may be your nose. We believe we'll find that your nose isn't working the way it should. And once we do get your nose working, your CPAP mask can finally work, or you can lose that CPAP mask altogether. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we offer every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution available, including simple in-office procedures that can get your nose and your throat working properly. It's a simple concept. If you're going to get your best sleep, you have to be able to breathe well.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to vaxassist.com and schedule today. That's vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
I don't remember how I felt. I never thought I'd live.
Well, Casey, obviously most of the show today dedicated to the property tax, some would say debacle, some would say bill.
What are we going to call it?
I guess it's like beauty. It's all in the eye of the beholder, right?
Yeah. You know what I feel like today? I feel like I'm wearing a cream-colored shirt and I spilt brown coffee on myself. And now I have to live with that for the rest of the day.
Well, let's hear what somebody who covers the Indiana State House unlike anybody else has to say. Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle joins us now. Nikki Kelly, hello.
Hey, how are you doing this morning?
Well, we're all right. Okay, so I think you and I have kind of been a couple of cackling hens chatting back and forth. And I think one of the things that surprised both of us is the governor signed on to this while there is still mass confusion, at least at the public at large in the media, about what happens with the local income tax, which is a huge part of this bill.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that I think I understood it on Monday. But then yesterday when they did an amendment again, I'm not exactly sure what's different on lit now. I think the simple question that needs to be answered is, and I've sent a request for this, obviously, is there are different kinds of lit, and I think that's starting to be the confusion. There's lit for property tax relief. There's lit for regular expenditures. There's special purpose lit. And so I think what needs to be clear is what was the overall capacity of lit that could be charged to Hoosiers under current law versus what the overall capacity of lit is for under this amendment. So hopefully we'll get that cleared up.
And they said they're going to, but this is the problem with government, right? They say, well, it's going down. And then you look at the fiscal note and go, says it's going up. Well, that's incorrect. Mm-hmm. Well, shouldn't you have then maybe waited to make the big announcement until you had some clear, I'll put it on a page to spell out for everybody whether their taxes are going up or down?
Well, technically it's correct. One part of the lit is going up, but another part of the lit is going away completely. And then they're adding in municipal lit, and there's confusion about whether that's on top of the county lit. So, I mean, I can see everyone's point when I look at the fiscal. Yep, that does say that there, but down here it says this. I just don't think it was very well written.
Do you ever?
I just say that because I love LSA.
Well, no, but I think it's too confusing. I mean, I think they've 368 pages. You're going to have things that are confusing. I'm not blaming those people. I'm blaming the lawmakers. Yeah. Do you ever remember a time on a issue like this is sort of the issue in the General Assembly this year, where a major point of the bill, there's that much contention before everybody rolled out and said, hey, we're all in agreement together? Nobody's covered the State House like you all these years.
I mean, this is a big one for that. We're still waiting to make sure the Senate's totally on board. I mean, I think their goal is to get a concurrence and not go to conference committee and, drag it out. I think they want this off their plate. And, if I look at it from an outside perspective of, I mean, it is obviously going to help homeowners in a big way. Is it enough? That's in the eye of the beholder. But they certainly acted more than I thought they might. I think the governor got a lot out of them. And, I think Mitch Daniels always used to say, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. And so, I think we kind of have to assess it versus on today versus what this relief would bring.
Were you surprised by the governor's language? He used words like proud and historic and we've agreed. Hoosiers didn't agree to this. He and the lawmakers agreed to it. But were you surprised by the celebration?
No. Obviously, I think he thinks he didn't get his quote reset, but often he came from a legislative background, so he gets it. Like what he wanted was relief. And he's getting, $1.4 billion of cuts or at least reduced increases, many of them actual cuts for homeowners in the next 3 years. So that's way more than the Senate offered to start and the House. And so it definitely moved his way.
Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capitol Chronicle is our guest. We're talking about the property tax bill. Now, you mentioned something that's interesting. It has to go back to the Senate. Now, the Senate was adamant about no actual property tax cuts other than for a select group of seniors and disabled veterans because they were so concerned about the school systems and everything else. How do they then square this, Nikki, and go, haha, just kidding? Like, this is fine. Like, how do they save face when there are now all these cuts that before they said, oh, this is going to be really bad?
Well, at least for the last month, Senate leadership has said clearly that the goal is to have the majority of Hoosiers pay less next year than the year before. So I think they shifted on that pretty quickly.
Of course.
There's still a lot, and we're still, the brand new fiscal is up. I haven't even read through it completely because I was chatting with you guys. But I mean, it's gonna take a hit on local governments, especially schools, and schools can't raise the lit. So, and not only can they not raise the lit, but they also are clamping down on when they can have referendums. And so it'll be harder for them to budget and plan. So, I mean, that remains to be seen how much services, get hit in in exchange for this relief.
Well, we are on a glide path.
That's right. Yes, we're gliding right to something.
I love that phrase.
Hey, so have you guys done any deep dive into, there's all sorts of random things that got thrown into this bill. And the one that stood out to us, and we're pissed off. Well, right. I mean, like this Union County school closure that has nothing to do with property taxes. Is anybody raising their hand going, why is this in a property tax bill?
Well, it is an issue. So I want to be clear. We're talking about Union School Corporation. There's also a Union Township School Corporation, not that one, not dissolving the township one. Basically, it's been something that's bubbling under the ground for a couple budget cycles. If you look at their school funding run, they basically run a virtual charter school through Stride. So they have 7,000 to 8,000 virtual students and only 200 in-person students. And so lawmakers have been frustrated by it and feel that's a lot of superintendent, front office, school buildings. And so I think they've been frustrated and wanted to make a point of it. There is a delay in it. So it could just be that they want it in there on the book so that they can then come to some sort of different compromise. But
this is where people get, because there's also this thing where now the charters get money, charter schools get money from school corporations if there's is that right?
Well, okay. Well, charter schools are public school corporations.
Right.
Public school.
Referendum dollars is what I'm saying.
Yes. There's a separate part. It was a different bill. I have no idea why it had to go in here. It was moving right along on its own, Senate Bill 518. And it basically says if you have a certain percentage, and it's a high percentage, I think it's over 50%, of your students in your district go to a charter or private school, then you have to share your referendum property tax dollars with them because they don't have the ability. They don't get any property tax dollars. Charters don't. It's all state funded.
And I think this is what people look at, this Union School Corporation bill or the thing with the charters. Okay, people can debate them, discuss them, but they get lumped in this thing because they want it to pass. They know if it's in this thing, it'll pass. And people just go, that doesn't seem like a great way to do government sometimes.
You should really read my column tomorrow. I think you would enjoy it.
Oh,
would you like to preview that for our audience?
Well, it's sort of about my worst favorite time of the year, and this is it. And it's because of stuff like this.
Very good. We'll look forward to reading that tomorrow, Friday. IndianaCapitalChronicle.com. Nikki Kelly, you're the best. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
Yeah.
All right, Casey.
Yeah.
You want to rage in the cage?
Okay.
You want to take some calls?
Sure.
You want people sound off on what they think about what the deal the governor made?
Yeah.
All right. We want to give the phone number out?
317-972-3001. That's 317-972-3001.
Take your phone calls next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Are you someone who tries to drive while distracted by your phone? Someone who props it on the steering wheel or peeks down at it for a glance? Or just scrolls and scrolls? If so, you could be the next person to get into a fender bender, get a ticket, veer off the road, or even cause a crash that kills you or someone else. Enough already. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
When you invest $200,000 or more, you get an upfront 20% bonus from Bill Demery. You'll also earn an annual return that's averaged nearly 10% for the past 10 years. And you're going to sleep well knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world.
Learn more by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, my retirement guy, 317-648-5120. Get an upfront 20% bonus on your deposit. 20% bonus. Earn an annual return that's averaged nearly 10% for the last decade, and sleep well knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
Spring selling season is here. Rates are down. Activity is up. Now is the best time in years to sell your home. However, some homes are sitting on the market. Hiring an expert who can maximize equity and minimize hassle is the key. That expert agent I recommend to sell your home is Mark Dietel. Perhaps you're worried you need costly repairs or upgrades to sell your home. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what David in Martinsville had to say about working with Mark Dietel. We bought our dream property and had to sell our old place with land by the end of the year to avoid a big tax hit. We had an agent friend who gave us no activity for months. Worried, we turned to Mark Dietel to save us. Mark's team took over, marketed our property like pros, and got our property sold in plenty of time. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get your new garage floor with Comer & Cross. Tony Katz here. And if your garage floor looks lousy, it's got cracks or stains, or if it has a bad epoxy job, or if your patio looks lousy as well, today is the day to call Comer & Cross for your quick and easy estimate. At 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, we're talking about a Midwest company now here in Indianapolis. And when you have a gleaming new Comer & Cross garage floor, it's like pulling into a new car showroom every night. These guys are the gold standard. Comer & Cross. It's guaranteed to never chip, crack, or show tire lift like epoxy or paint. And the secret is the process. And their process means you're going to have a quality floor that lasts for years to come. They fix all your cracks and pits perfectly and apply your custom floor in 6 stages. And they're all certified employee pros. No freelancers at Comer & Cross. For your quick and easy Comer & Cross estimate on a new garage floor, patio, or basement this spring, call 1-800-NEW-FLOOR. 1-800-NEW-FLOOR, or go to comercross.com. C-O-M-E-R, comercross.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A countersuit against Elon Musk. I'm Kylan Talley, and this report is brought to you by Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 10:30. OpenAI is countersuing Elon Musk. In November, Musk filed for an injunction to stop OpenAI from going fully for profit. OpenAI is now countersuing him, claiming harassment. The suit filed Wednesday asks the court to enjoin Musk from unlawful or unfair actions and hold the former co-founder responsible for any damage he has already done. President Trump is meeting with his cabinet after issuing a 90-day pause on tariffs for most countries. Fox Business's Edward Lawrence is at the White House with more.
The president is assembling his cabinet here to try and figure out how to reset global trade and where his policies stand and where they want to be. Now, on X, the U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, he posted that he has actually spoken now to the Deputy Prime Minister of Vietnam, Prime Minister Ho, about the relationship, about reciprocal tariffs and the vast economic opportunities between the two countries. Now, Vietnam announced that it was willing to reduce tariffs on U.S. products to 0 after the president first announced his reciprocal tariffs. The country said that it would remove non-tariff barriers to selling U.S. goods.
One nation that was not subject to the president's tariff pause is China. He increased the tax on Chinese imports to 125% Wednesday. Golf's first major championship begins today in Augusta. Players are teeing off in what some would say is chilly conditions this morning in the 89th edition of the Masters Tournament at the Augusta National Golf Club. It's 59 in Augusta, Georgia, with plenty of sun to come for them as they begin the Masters. In other sports news, today marks 45 days until the greatest spectacle in racing, but hey, who's counting? Today is also 100 days until the WNBA's All-Star comes to Indy. I'm Kylan Talley, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey up in just a moment.
Weekday mornings at 7:15, the Tony Katz Popcorn Moment. Brought to you by Boer Remodeling. Don't wait any longer for the kitchen you've been dreaming of. Request a consultation at boerremodeling.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
All right, it's your time to sound off. 317-972-3001 is the phone number. Your chance to talk about what do you think about what the governor did yesterday, the announcement he made. If it's anything like the online comments he's getting, it's going to be fantastic. Casey, who do we have?
We've got Brad on line 1.
Brad, hello. What do you think about what the governor did?
Well, you know what? I'm just kind of tired of, honestly, the politicians, like, they're acting like that this is their money. They're doing us a favor, giving us $300 max back of the money that they've taken that we are paying. And I think, honestly, what the next step is to do a primary purge. So that should be the next tax rally. So thanks for the time.
All right. Thanks, Brad. Appreciate you. Casey, who's up next?
We've got Allison on line 2.
Allison, hello.
Hi. Hey, I'm calling. I was at the tax rally. I'm super disappointed in Mike Braun. I'm ready to primary all these local officials out. I am seriously considering voting for Democrats next time around as they actually do what they say they're going to do.
Allison, question for you. Do you feel the governor under-delivered what he promised you, what you heard at the tax rally, and what you heard throughout the course of this process?
Of course. He told me he was going to fight. And I feel like he's giving up easily now.
Allison, I have a question for you. Did you take the day off work to be at the tax rally?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
All right, Allison, thank you. We appreciate you listening. Casey, who's next?
Andrew on line 3.
Andrew, hello.
Hey, so I just wanted to say something. So my wife and we had been looking to purchase a home a few months ago, and it was just highly discouraging because, first of all, we had looked in like some other counties because we're not super high income, but couldn't really pay for anything out like in Putnam County because it's too expensive. So we thought, let's go to Marion County. And we're like, the homes are a lot cheaper there. And then what really set us back was the property taxes. They were like $2,000+ for, a 1,000 square foot home, which was just outrageous. And I just find it really disappointing that, they're doing this to us because, that's really, it doesn't make it easier for me to purchase a home. And I'm renting right now, and, my rent has gone up because of these property taxes as well.
Question. Would the $200 that you would get back on this 10% credit, would that have solved the whole thing for you?
Well, you got to think it's like $200 over what, 12 months?
Yes, that's correct.
Heck no.
Okay, very good. All right.
Maybe $200 a month.
Okay, very good. Which is sort of what the area of the initial promise was. Go ahead, Casey.
Do we know, is the first-time home buyer tax credit still back in that bill?
I think there is something in there. I'll dig back into that and try to get an answer. But based on what he's saying, I'm not sure it would have done him much good. All right, thanks. Appreciate you listening. Who's up next, Casey?
We've got Steve on line 4.
Steve, and before we do, if you'd like to be a part of the program, we're going to take phone calls this hour, next hour. 317-972-3001 is the phone number. 317-972-3001. You can, Kev will get you in the queue here. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
I've been, only service read this stuff, and it does no good for me or our family. We live out in one of the farther out counties. The biggest problem there was every year they reassess the value of the property, and it goes up by $10,000 or some range. And what the school district charges, that was the big gripe. They just, they went crazy. And right now, I'm paying as much, or having to save $500 a month to pay my property taxes, which was
wait. How much? Wait, Steve, what'd you say? $500 a month?
Right, for my property taxes, which is about $50 less than what my mortgage was.
So the $300 isn't really going to do much for you at $500 a month. Is that safe to say?
It's not going to do, excuse my English, something to hold water back at all. Nothing at all.
How long have you lived at the property?
We've been there for 25 years.
Do you remember what they were, what the taxes were when you first bought that? You have any idea? It's basically you're saying $6,000 now. Do you have any idea what they were when you bought the property?
They were approximately $500 a year after we put the house in. And through inflation and this, let's increase your value of your house every year by $6,000 to $10,000.
Yeah,
it's went sky high. And then one of the school districts, and I'm not blaming them too much. Their old school was a piece of what, and they built a brand new school. And their assessment for that school is like
Steve,
2/3 of the property tax.
Steve, if you could speak to the governor right now, would you advise him to just give you this $300 and go home, or would you advise him to reevaluate, veto this bill, and fight for more?
I think you should veto the bill and fight for more.
Okay. Very good. Steve, we appreciate you. Yeah, thanks for listening. Casey, go ahead.
We've got Tyler on line number 5.
Tyler, hello.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up?
Hey, first and foremost, I just want to say you guys did a great job in stewarding the property tax rally. It was very admirable. But, I mean, honestly, let's cut to the chase here. I mean, Ron lied to us. Ron has told us he's going to fight for the Hoosier taxpayer. He has not. He has failed in everything in his promises that he's led us to believe, and it's just frustrating. I mean, as Casey would say, our local government wouldn't lie to us, would they? I mean,
right there in front of 1,000 people.
Tyler, let me ask you this. Do you cut Braun any slack because he fought for more? He did get the deduction raise or the credit raise from 7.5% to 2.5% to 10%, which is 2.5% increase. Do we give him any credit for that, or should he just have walked away from the whole thing?
I think he should have just walked away. But and to think that the Senate is going to turn this down, vote this down, is just we can't bank on those guys. I mean, Baldwin, and it's just, I mean, I've just been disappointed in his efforts. So,
Tyler, okay, this is maybe an off-the-wall question. Are you as mad at the governor now for misleading you, which is kind of the way you've expressed that you feel, as you were at Holcomb during COVID? Like, can you compare those two feelings that you had between these two governors?
I would say it's not as frustrated, but obviously we're in a different place and time during COVID. So the frustration was ramped up a little bit more. But, I mean, this is a yearly thing, property tax. I mean, COVID, 5 years? So it's just, I think it's just about the same level. But.
Okay, very good. Tyler, we appreciate you listening, man. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Kathy is on line 6.
Kathy, hello.
Hello.
What's on your mind, Kathy?
Well, first of all, I would like to say I've seen too many good people lose their homes and struggling so hard that used to be able to survive. You know, if Trump, my opinion is if Trump, all these government people that hold a government seat, if Trump would take half their salaries, then they would start working for the people. It says on the monuments in Washington, D.C., they work for us. We the people, by the people. And it says in our Declaration of Independence, if we see an evil, tyrannical government form, we have every right to form a new government and overthrow them. That's my opinion.
Kathy, if you could talk to the governor right now, would you advise him to take this deal, or do you think he should go back and veto and keep fighting?
No, absolutely not. They work for us. We don't work for them. And they've robbed us, stolen from us, and treated us like garbage. And they've forgotten that they work for us. We don't work for them.
I couldn't say it better myself. Kathy, thank you.
I think one of the things that the administration is afraid of is that they won't be able to get anything done over the next 3.5 years if they veto this bill.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt that this is a bigger issue than just property taxes. And I think they're very concerned that if they make these guys look bad, they're going to punish him.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you got to have a DeSantis. This is where Braun needs to have a moment. And there's still time for Braun, by the way. Braun could come out. He's hearing all this today. They're seeing all the social media stuff. They know what's going on. I told them what was going to happen yesterday. They're not surprised. He still has time, and he would totally save face if he were to come out later today or tomorrow or at any point and go, look, I've heard it from the people. I made a mistake. My heart was in the right place. I was trying to help people. I got the most I could. Clearly, my constituency, the people of this state, are pissed off at this, and this is not enough, so I am going to veto this bill. He still has time to do that. You already got it on the table. They're already going to prove it. All they could do is override what you already got negotiated. This is why this is so important. He still has time. He's going to hear this. If he cares, he still has time to change his mind.
But the thing about them being worried about not being able to get anything else done over the next 3.5 years, this is the thing to get done.
Yeah, you're right.
This is the thing.
You're right. And we'll get into that more next hour. All right. Do we have time to take one more call?
Yeah, one more call. We've got Rick on line 7.
We don't have Rick. We got Dwayne right
here.
Dwayne. Hello, Dwayne, one of my 10 all-time favorite names of people who replaced Rick on a phone line. Go ahead, Dwayne. Hello.
Hey, how you doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
I was at your property tax rally. Thanks for putting that on.
Yeah.
Took the day off work, drove over an hour each way, paid my $30 in parking. I saw Mike Braun take off his coat, roll up his sleeves, look me in the eye, and say, we are going to fight for meaningful property tax reform. What a crock of hooey.
Do you don't feel that this has been meaningful then?
That is the understatement of the year, Casey.
Let me ask you this, Dwayne. Let me ask you this: if you had known that this was the deal you were going to get, would you have taken a day off work and given $30 to go see Mike Braun speak?
I probably still would have showed up and said this is wrong and stupid, and it is not your money. Damn it, it's mine.
Yeah.
And let me just say too, as disappointed as I am in Braun, he's a politician from the word go. But I am seriously disappointed in Micah Beckwith.
Go on.
He didn't stand up like he said he was going to. He didn't talk with the governor and say, let's make this right with what the promises we made. And the icing on the cake is he buys an $86,000 car with state money. So these rules are for thee, not for me.
Man, Dwayne, we appreciate you. Thank you so much, and we appreciate everybody who called. We're going to open the phone lines up again next hour because I think this is really important. Go ahead, Casey.
I just wanted to let you know that they are going to have the third reading today of SB1, and they convene at 11 a.m. this morning, but they have about 9 bills in front of it. So it'll be probably noon, 1 o'clock by the time they get to it.
Every state rep should still vote against this. Andrew Ireland, if you can hear us, I know he's a fan of our show. Craig Haggard, these people who spoke at the rally. People got to take stands on this. You're hearing from the people. You're hearing where they're at, that the governor made a mistake. There's still time for the governor to correct this and veto this bill. And, hey, no harm, no foul, right? Like you heard from the people. What's the 3-step process, Casey?
Yeah, admit the mistake, apologize, take corrective action.
Totally, tons of time, no harm, no foul. The guy's trying hard. Everybody will understand it. But, wow, howdy, I think the calls were – and, look, if you go on social media, these calls are mirroring what he's hearing, and people are being polite and decent and radio appropriate for us. I don't think they're always doing that.
Yes, we thank them for that, by the way.
Yes, thank you. All right, so Hammer's going to join us next.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show 306 this afternoon. Property tax bill. Sounds like a stinker. Rob Kendall off the rails. And a lot of laughs. We'll talk this afternoon.
Indiana patients rely on many types of pharmacies to access their medications and critical healthcare services. But a proposal being considered in the Indiana legislature called SB 140 would disrupt access to medications for Indiana patients. SB 140 would impose government mandates blocking access to critical pharmacy options and services in Indiana. Lost access to pharmacy options would directly harm many of Indiana's most vulnerable patients, including patients fighting cancer and heart disease, many of whom rely on specialty pharmacies for their care. SB 140 would even hike costs for Indiana patients by imposing a $10 tax on every prescription filled in the state. That would often fall directly on the patient. Tell your state legislator, protect access to medications, reject higher costs. Put Indiana patients first by voting no on SB 140, paid for by conservatives for lower healthcare costs.
Okay, so you're getting screwed on the property taxes, but here's a way to save some money and maybe make up for Mike Braun stabbing us all in the back. It's the big sale, the spring home improvement event from Universal Windows Direct. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you're going to get the next 2 free. No limit, you need 4, you only pay for 2. You need 12, you pay for 6. Then on top of that, no interest until 2030. That's right. Upgrade your home today. Don't pay a cent of interest for 6 whole years. And last, but certainly not least, get a $500 bonus off your entire home improvement project. So let's review. Buy 2, get 2 free. No interest till 2030, and $500 off your home improvement project from Universal Windows Direct. Now, some restrictions may apply. Just to get all the details, schedule your free in-home estimate. Call Universal Windows Direct today. 317-659-7574, 317-659-7574. Visit them on the web, universalwindowsdirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
WindowNation.com, that's where you go to replace your cold, drafty windows with energy-efficient ones from Window Nation like I did. I love my Window Nation windows. I've saved a ton on energy bills, and your new windows can be installed in 1 day or less.
Go big or go home. And that's what they're doing at Window Nation. Right now, get 4 windows for free with every 4 that you buy. And there's no limit. The more you buy, the more free ones you get. 0 interest, 0 payments for 2 years. You don't pay anything until 2027, and you get 4 windows for free when you buy 4. And on top of that, get a free entry door when you buy a house full of windows. This deal is not going to be around forever, so you got to hustle. 866-90-NATION. That's 866-90-NATION, or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
It's the Bash Sale, the biggest automotive sale in history. Your local Bill Estes dealerships are coming in hot with deals on trucks you don't want to miss. We have a huge selection of trucks at one easy online stop. Brand new Chevy, Ford, GMC, Jeep, Ram, and Toyota trucks with a massive pre-owned selection too. Plus, our fair and direct upfront pricing means what you see is what you pay. Shift into savings during the Bash Sale, only at Bill Estes dealerships, and drive away in your dream truck today. Online at BillEstesTrucks.com.
I will never forget the day we found out my brother needed a heart transplant. Sure, you hear about people needing an organ sometimes, but it doesn't feel real until you're the one waiting. I tell you, we're just thankful. God answered our prayers. But my brother wouldn't be alive today without that transplant. That's why I signed up to be an organ donor at the BMV, because I want to be the answer to someone else's prayers.
Sign up to be an organ donor. Say yes the next time you're at the BMV.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
That's are us. When dreams don't get in, that's are us.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Right now, get Lincoln's employee pricing for everyone on most new Lincolns at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Navigators, up to $8,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Nautilus, or up to $7,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Corsair at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. Navigator MSRP $105,575, Nautilus MSRP $61,995, Corsair MSRP $47,820. Offers good through 4/30/2025. Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Reach your fitness goals in 2025 with a 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
Big stories locally, big moves in Washington. WIBC.com keeps you updated throughout the day with all the news that matters, plus traffic, weather, and more on your phone, your laptop, wherever you are. It's news when you need it.
5 to 1, baby. 1 and
Hey, I got a big. I didn't even catch up, but I got a big update.
Yeah.
Some good news for us.
Yeah.
Joaquin Neiman is 3 under through 4 holes at the Masters, tied for the lead.
And you know what? I think this is really important to point out to the audience. Rob stayed up till 2 o'clock in the morning. He was crunching the numbers of this no good, rotten, horrible bill. He's been, talking about it all day today. Keep in mind the Masters starts today. That's how dedicated this little petty man next to me is.
It's my Super Bowl week, and I'm here with you people.
Okay, so now that I've said something nice about you.
Yes, you're Jason Hammer, by the way.
Oh, by the way, yes. Hello. All right, so let me let you respond to some criticism, okay? Because you came on our show yesterday at 4 o'clock when news of this broke, and you laid it all out there. And your job was to report the facts at that point.
That's right.
What you know, you had your meeting with the governor. Some of the response that I received was, I thought Rob would be angrier. Where's Rob's edge? Is this because he's friends with Micah? Had this been Governor Holcomb, he'd be losing his ever-loving mind. What's your response to that?
Well, it was an amendment that had literally been out for an hour. I heard about it right before it got voted on. So you're trying to process, what is the actual thing? What does it do? And then one of the things we found as you start digging into it, that's why I asked you, you want me to scream about something I'm not fully educated on? Part of what we do here is we joke about how I don't read things. Like, I read all the time. Nobody knows this stuff better
You may be
than
the
me.
only one.
Exactly. Clearly, the Braun administration didn't read the thing, right? That's why they can't tell you if the income tax goes up or
That's why they
not.
say they're going to change any errors in it.
So it's a monstrous bill. You're hit with this thing of, hey, I'm approving this thing that's going to be voted on in an hour, 2 hours, or whatever. I was trying to get people the information that we had because there's so much information. I didn't want to take up a bunch of time screaming about things that I don't know to be a fact. Now, today, I think I've screamed plenty, haven't I? It's been a whole day of screaming.
I think you had a very measured response yesterday when you were on with Hammer and Nigel. Number one rated Hammer.
Look, and I told the governor this, and I think I've lived up to my end of the bargain on this. That I would present the facts and things that I thought were positive. I would present those. I would also say that I would veto this bill. I think in the aggregate, I think it's a negative. I think it should be vetoed. I think it should be burned and thrown in the pits of hell. But I'm going to point out the things that are positive. I think I tried to do a balance of that yesterday, and now over the past 12 hours or whatever it's been, I had time to understand nobody knows what's going on with this local income tax, and I think I've been pretty aggressive on it today.
That previous segment you guys had where you took phone calls, I thought the most interesting call was from a young lady by the name of Allison that called in. She said she took the day off, went down to the State House to protest, saw the governor, who she believed in, roll up his sleeves and go fight, fight, fight. This is the fight we got?
Yeah.
This is it? This is the fight we got? Giving local governments basically the Fonz thumbs up to just tax the bejesus out of you?
Yeah, it's almost like, hey, local government, if you don't know how to increase your revenue, i.e. tax more, this is how you do it. It's like an instruction manual on how to get more money for the local governments. And you're right. I felt like Allison, she was spot on. Mike Braun stood there in front of all of those people. He rolled up his sleeves. He said, I'm a fighter. Aren't I, Maureen? And they, yeah, you're a fighter. But then he fell short. It's like he's not going all in.
Right. And I refuse to accept the fact that these were our only two options.
Yeah.
I refuse to accept the fact it's either take this $200 deal or you get nothing and like it. I refuse to accept that those are the options when you've got the leverage.
You do.
You are the governor. You've got a very charismatic lieutenant governor. You guys could have any media presser you want right now. Use the bully pulpit to your advantage. You could have dudes primaried if you really wanted to. I refuse to accept the fact that these are our only two options.
And this is without going into detail what sentiment I expressed to the governor yesterday, because I want him to succeed on this, because I do think he has worked hard and tried and got outside of his comfort zone. And I knew this was going to happen today. I said, look, I cannot stave you off from these people. It's like a Batman movie, right? Where like the people take over, right? People are so pissed, and you're going to be letting them down on a level. It's like if you'd come in and said your bill's going down 50%. Okay, hey, people are, whatever, right? I mean, but you're giving people basically a 10% reduction in their bill that's gone up, tripled or quadrupled over the past 4 or 5 years.
Well, raised to 4%.
Right.
And depending on what happens tax-wise where you live, you might end up paying more.
Oh, yeah. No, I have no doubt that these school corporations are going to sprint to the referendum turnstile. And some will pass, some of them won't. But it's garbage. They put it out without knowing the lit. The discount, the savings is not worth the fight you're going to have with these school corporations who are all going to go for these referendums because they don't even get the local income tax. Yeah, I mean, the reality is there are property tax savings in this bill, but by and large, you're right. To use a phrase of yours, it's a turd.
It's a total turd. And don't be afraid to call people's bluff. Like that weasel that's the fire chief from Danville that went on television. Well, we might not be able to respond to stuff. Shut up. Anybody that knows that dude in Danville, laugh in his face because he's a weasel and everybody knows it. But local governments pad the pockets of your politicians, and that's why we're in this situation.
And here's the thing. Braun, give me just a second, Kevin. Braun has time to change his mind still. Nobody will blame him if he comes out and goes, man, I heard from the people today. I tried to help you. Clearly, this is not enough. I will no longer support this. I've heard from the people.
He made this his signature campaign issue. He made this his priority. He made it SB1. Imagine the work that gets done on something they don't care as much about.
Hey, all right, so two things. One, you want to take calls again when we come back? Top of next hour? Okay, so we'll take calls. And then I want to let you promo what you got coming up today. 317-972-3001.
You got the phones working?
The phones are working.
Awesome.
We turned them on. Rage in the Cage Day, baby. I was screaming at our engineers. It's Rage in the Cage Day!
317-972-3001. That is the phone number. Hammer, what's coming up today?
Senator Jim Banks will join us. Rob Kendall will join us. We're calling it Bring the heat Thursday on the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Thank you. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
I basically had a perpetual sinus infection where it would clear, get the meds.
And it didn't do anything.
Medications may not really help. They can be a temporary fix instead of trying to find the real root of a breathing triangle problem. And that's Mom chiming in. And what you're about to hear next was a first for Advent.
So my symptoms were the same. We actually had the same procedure on the same day. It was just a matter of, let's just do this. Why put it off?
An in-office procedure at Advent to get you breathing well is very convenient, and you shouldn't put it off because breathing well changes lives.
I do remember the first deep breath.
Oh, I remember that.
The feeling of whoa, this is great.
Since then, breathing has gotten easier. Sleeping has gotten easier.
I came in over 10 years ago and I couldn't breathe ever, and now I can breathe. That's the best way I can put it.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
Long rebound to Turner. He'll let it fly from directly up top, and he'll tie the game at 84.
A long ball, 2 to 3 steps off of the three-point line.
Perimeter right on the drive. Johnson got to the hoop. Wow. Turner blocked a dunk.
What a block.
Catch your Pacers and the Orlando Magic in the final regular season home game. Join us for Fan Appreciation Night Friday at 7. Let's close out the regular season and get ready for the playoffs. Get your tickets at Pacers.com. Pacers Magic, Friday at 7.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But this one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. Oh, one last number. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Visit redcrossblood.org today.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios. Confusion about the property tax bill continues. A woman sentenced for causing 2 deadly crashes. A man who faked cancer could be facing time in prison. All of that and more after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock on this Thursday morning.
It's what President Trump calls one big, beautiful bill. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and it's being voted on now in the House. The budget blueprint that already passed the Senate, using a process Democrats can't block. It funds the Trump agenda, including border security, and extends the president's 2017 tax cuts. And House Speaker Mike Johnson says,
we are committed to finding at least $1.5 trillion in savings for the American people, while also preserving our essential programs.
Democrats dispute that, fearing there would be cuts to assistance programs and to Medicaid. Amid all the concern the Trump tariffs still in place could lead to a spike in consumer prices, the president touted this in an all-caps Truth Social post this morning. Inflation is down. Fox's Ginny Casola has the numbers.
The numbers came in much better than forecast. The CPI declined 0.1%. Up 0.1% for core CPI, excluding food and energy. For the year ending in March, the CPI declined to an increase of 2.4%.
On Wall Street, a return to selling the day after the big rebound from the market plunge that reacted to President Trump pausing most new reciprocal tariffs. The Dow is now down more than 1,000 points. The Nasdaq falling almost 4%. An American jailed in Russia for treason is now free. Ksenia Karolina was released this morning in a prisoner swap, put on a plane to the U.S. She was arrested last year when returning to Russia to see family. Her crime? Donating $50 to a charity for Ukraine when she was in the U.S.
Karolina was traded for German-Russian dual national Arthur Petrov, who was also seen on a
plane today after being released by the U.S. Petrov was accused of exporting sensitive U.S. electronics for use in Russia's military. He was arrested in 2023 in Cyprus at the request of the U.S.
Fox's Alex Hogan. More bodies have been found in the rubble of that nightclub roof collapse in the Dominican Republic early Tuesday. So it's up to 218 people dead, among them Ruby Perez, the merengue singer who was performing when the roof came down. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Deception around the property tax bill. Sunny, 50, and rising on Monument Circle. Your high today, 61. I'm Kylan Talley. Here's what's trending at 11:02. An optical illusion. That's how Democrat State Representative Greg Porter is describing an amendment that passed Wednesday in the property tax bill.
People will not really know what it's going to do for a year or two now. We got 1.8 million people that are homestead or have homesteads, and we're talking about a potential average tax relief of $245.
In many places, homestead properties are treated differently than other properties, often with lower tax rates or special protections, like in the case of this property tax bill. Continue listening to Kendall and Casey for clearing up all of this confusion. 3 children were killed Wednesday morning in a crash between an Amish buggy and a Mercedes. Chris Davis reports.
The crash happened about 8 o'clock on a rural road south of Bremen in Marshall County. The coroner there says all 3 kids who died were in the Amish buggy and were siblings. Police believe the Mercedes slammed into the back of the buggy, throwing all of the kids out, and they died at the scene. The coroner identified them as 13-year-old Glenda Jo Yoder, 10-year-old Daryl Yoder, and 9-year-old Devin Yoder, all of Marshall County. The driver of the Mercedes was not hurt. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Kelly Anderson, sentenced today for causing 2 deadly crashes in 2022, will spend 84 more days in jail and face 3 years of probation. Anderson pleaded guilty to 2 counts of reckless homicide in March 2025 as part of a plea agreement. Prosecutors recommended no more than 3 years in prison, which the judge accepted. Anderson has been serving time awaiting trial, and Anderson's sentences will run concurrently, and her license will be suspended for 10 years in line with her habitual traffic offender status. A man could face up to 2.5 years in prison if he is convicted. Jacob McDaniel explains why.
That's because he lied about having cancer just so he can get out of paying child support. Samuel Cummings told a judge he was diagnosed with cancer during a court hearing last year in September. He also said he didn't have paperwork, so the judge told him to bring it to his next court hearing in November. Cummings still did not bring it, but he brought it to his next one in December, claiming that it was from doctors. Prosecutors were then told that Cummings faked his diagnosis, as well as forging signatures. Authorities say Cummings told them multiple times that he received treatment at IU Health Bloomington, but medical records say there were no signs of cancer. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Broadway in Indianapolis's Beetlejuice opened last night in Clues Memorial Hall with Hoosier Sarah Litzinger playing Delia. Excited to be home again.
I'll be able to go to Basbo's Pizza and get my pizza, my creamy basil salad dressing, and walk on the Mona.
Sarah joined WIBC Sunday's First Day with Terry Stacy to share about what to expect from the show.
It's a roller coaster ride of nonstop laughs, but it also has heart, which is what makes the show so great.
Performances continue tonight through Sunday. Tickets and more information at BroadwayInIndianapolis.com. I'm Kylan Talley, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey back in 1 minute.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling, BOOHER, BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. BOOHER, BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WYBC.
All right, we'll get to your calls here in just a second on the governor agreeing to the property tax deal. People are outraged today. I think they would be. Before we do that, though, I gotta, and we'll get into this tomorrow. But this is a wild story that is breaking, and obviously we're going to focus on property taxes. But the Brownsburg Community School Corporation, the former superintendent, is suing the school board over his termination.
Yeah, isn't that incredible? Well, I mean, you kind of thought maybe that was going to happen.
So just a reset. So Jim Snapp had been the superintendent at Brownsburg for, I don't know, what had been 13 years or whatever. And he was this, beloved by the board, and he's great, and he's the best, and we're number one, and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, within a couple weeks' time or whatever, he's just basically out the door. And in the process of all that, that gets leaked to IndyStar that there's some investigation going on with State Board of Accounts regarding some allegations of something Snapp may or may not have done. It wasn't really clear, if I recall the article at the time. And then there's this buyout, and he leaves, and it's all under this kind of cloud of secrecy. Well, apparently, Snapp has reached the up for which he cannot stand, because this lawsuit, I posted at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter, if you want to see the link to it, is posted. And he is alleging, amongst other things, a breach of contract, abuse of process, fraudulent inducement, violation of due process and breach of employment contract, and defamation. So this is this is going to be a wild story. This could open up doors to so many things that have been going on, because don't forget all the drama that went on at Brownsburg with the kid that was forced to eat the vomit and all of this stuff. This could just, oh my gosh, this is going to be so juicy.
He also demanded a trial by jury on all issues, so trialable. And you're right, the discovery process on this could be incredible.
Yeah, so this could have the potential to be like a huge story from what is statistically, in terms of test scores, the number one school corporation in the state of Indiana, and whatever, because he got the dirt on everybody. That guy, he's going to sing like a canary, and if we can get this to trial, I could find out things I've been waiting years to learn about. All right, so I just had to mention that, because we'll get into that tomorrow. That's going to be a huge, huge story for all of central Indiana. If the number one school system in the state, if this stuff starts coming out, whatever it is, who knows? All right, so phone line. So we're taking your calls this hour. 23, that's the old
317-972-3001.
All right, who do we have? Who's first?
We've got Brandon on line one.
Brandon, hello.
Hi, Kendall and Casey. It's nice to talk to you guys.
Good morning.
Yes, go ahead. What's on your mind?
I'm a local fuel hauler, live out in Putnam County. I don't have real high property taxes. It's based on what my property is. But my personal opinion, Braun's a Washington politician. He's not doing anything I didn't expect, but I would sure like to know when in the last 20 years of the state legislature having a supermajority, they decided to be California Democrats. Because that's exactly what they are. They could move to California right now and just change their party affiliation and nothing else.
Yeah, you're sure.
My mom's lived in the Hendricks County and Putnam County areas her entire life, and she's 76.
Well,
this is way worse than we've ever seen, and the fact that they've got the goal to do this, and Braun believe them.
Yeah, Brandon.
I'm sorry, I'm done with it.
Yeah, Brandon, thank you for listening. Thank you for the phone call. And here's one thing to remember, and people forget this in the shuffle. When the property tax caps went into place, the sales tax went up. That was part of the agreement. It wasn't just, hey, we're cutting property taxes. You paid for it somewhere else. Teachers are paid now through a sales tax increase. So you have these super high property taxes, which are way higher than they were pre-cap, and now you have this sales tax increase. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, I'm with you, buddy.
So to Brandon's point, somebody said supermajorities create complacency, and complacency creates rhinos.
Yep.
We've got John on line 2. Hi, John.
Yes, this is John. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? What's on your mind, buddy?
Well, I'm afraid that it's bad everywhere. I'm in Marion, and I was just wanting to echo what you were saying. They have to veto this. There's no way he can go and say, I promise to do this, I promise to do this, and then basically he's throwing pennies at something that creates hundreds of dollars of issues. We have people in our little town in Marion, Indiana, without a lot of high dollar property, whose property taxes have more than tripled. One lady, I know my property taxes go up every year because of improvements, and for the last 3 years, I've done nothing but mow the frickin' lawn.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the answer is. It's just frustrating that it keeps happening, and there's people affected by it more than me. I echo what Brian said, because of what his property is, what my property is. It doesn't affect me as much as it does other people, but it's just disgusting that we as citizens are looking at it and saying, oh, yeah, this is okay.
John, let me ask you this question. If the governor had come out and said, okay, this is not exactly what we wanted, but it is step one in a long process, and here is what year 2 looks like in terms of meaningful reforms and changes and additional savings, would that have bought him grace or more time in your book?
It would have at least been honest, so probably more grace.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the one guy that respected Bill Clinton because he said what he was going to do, but then lost every bit of respect for him because he didn't do it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I didn't agree with it. I would much rather somebody go in and say, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and even if I don't agree with it, I can be prepared for it.
All right, one more question before we let you go. If Braun heard our show today, which they have, and saw the social media stuff, which they have, and sees the overwhelming outpouring of people who are livid about this, and came out and said, you know what, I've heard you guys, I made a mistake, I was trying to help, clearly this isn't what you want, I will now veto this bill. Would all be forgiven for you?
Maybe, but you got to remember, I've had enough smoke blown up my butt that I have to schedule a colonoscopy today because that's not healthy.
All right, John, thank you for listening. We appreciate you, brother.
Let's go to Kyle, who's waiting on line 3. Good morning, Kyle.
Hey, good morning, friends. So the point I just simply want to make is that we've always been told that the people have the voice and the power with our votes. And clearly, our vote is no longer inflicting the change that we need. So what matters most in votes is dollar bills. And I truly think that we're in a situation now where, you know, the phrase extreme situations calls for extreme measures. I would love it to see the gridlock and the fallout happen if enough Hoosiers rallied together and sacrificed more by separating the escrow on their mortgages to manual payment, and we all just stopped paying our property taxes and let it bleed dry and take the money away from these politicians who are not only misspending it and misappropriating it, but also can't follow through on the things that they say they're going to do for us, the people.
Yeah, thank you for the phone call. Appreciate you, and thanks for listening. Casey, who's next?
We've got Jamie Rittenauer is waiting on line 4.
So Jamie ran for governor.
Mm-hmm.
I actually voted for Jamie for governor because she's the one person who actually put out a property tax plan at the time when nobody cared about property taxes that was running. And Jamie's on. Hi, Jamie. How are you?
I'm good, Rob.
You've been very vocal about this on social media. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have been, because everybody that cares about Hoosiers should be. This is definitely what Braun ran on. And so it's surprising to see what's coming out. I want to believe the best, but I think the best place to start is to correct where they're putting the standard. Earlier, I heard something about Daniels, and that is the old politics of Indiana, for sure what the State House wants to talk about. But what they need to understand is that Braun did not run on Daniels. Braun ran on Trump. Trump beat Kamala Harris by 19 points in the state. So when Hoosiers are asking for work to get done, their standard is not Daniels. Their standard is President Trump. What he is doing right now is he is not holding up to all of the things that he said. He said he was a businessman. He said he could go in and get the job done from that perspective. Everybody knows if you have a product and you stick it out there and your clients don't want it, you take it off the shelf. People do not want this. I am saying to him something very simple. Just go back to the table.
So Jamie, if Braun were to come out today and say, like we just asked the last guest, hey, I tried. This was coming from a great place. I thought I'd cut a decent deal that would help you guys. Clearly, you don't want it. I'll veto the bill, and we'll call a special session. We'll stay here until we get it done. You would be okay with that?
I would absolutely be okay with them going back to the table the way that President Trump does. Put the cameras in the room. Yeah. Bring the bill. Okay. Go page by page and ask the question, what problem is this solving? If it's taxes, put it to the side and then start from scratch. We've got 15 pages here talking about taxes. We've got 100 pages here talking about taxes. None of these pages are the things that people voted for. They need to go back to the sales tax. That's what had the most steam. People voted for the sales tax. That's what they want. And so they need to do what the people voted for. It is not upside down politics anymore. People are not going to go for this. If he wants to win anything in the future, which many of us are watching, he needs to do what he said he would do. He ran on Trump. He needs to be like Trump.
Jamie, thank you. Appreciate you and appreciate you calling. All right, you want to keep taking phone calls?
Yeah, we've got to take a break, and we've got a few people waiting on the line, so we'll get to them in just a minute.
And if you'd like to get in, 317-972-3001.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
13% plunge in Hong Kong's market overnight. Dow futures are down more than 800 points.
Market futures are dropping. Short-term pain.
Hear the news.
30 counties are under flood warnings. There's no rain in the forecast over the next few days.
As events happen.
15-year-old kid shot and killed.
Are skilled at identifying barriers to treatment,
as well as expertise from Mayo Clinic.
It is more personal care than just a number.
Visit hendricks.org/cancer.
For over 20 years, Howard Bailey Financial has been helping families just like yours gain clarity, confidence, and purpose with personal and practical financial strategies. And now, we're offering our full suite of services on Rangeline Road, right in the heart of Carmel, making it even easier to meet with our experienced team face-to-face. Whether you're planning for retirement, navigating life transitions, or just need guidance for your financial future, we're here to walk with you every step of the way. Text CARMEL to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement resource. Howard Bailey Financial, helping you turn hope into a plan and dreams into reality. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text ENERGY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ENRGY to 42424. That's ENERGY to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But this one you need to hear. 16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. Oh, one last number. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
Hey, question before we take the phone calls.
Yeah, Rob.
Has Micah Beckwith issued a public statement yet?
Not the last time I checked, which was about an hour ago.
Okay, so last night he told me, because I asked him directly, I said, what do you want me to tell people? He said, well, tell them I told the governor should veto the bill on Friday, and I'm still digesting what took place. Now, I know he was at that Hoosier Idol thing last night, and that's great. He was already booked for that, and that's fine. It's a charity event. But it's like, no, I was up till 2 a.m. learning about what was in the bill, and I've digested it and got opinions on it. And you're the lieutenant governor making $200K a year, and so what, can you give us an opinion? Like, whatever it is, you're on Team Braun or your Team People here, whatever it is.
Well,
let us know.
I think he's kind of doing the wait and see sort of thing. I'm checking his social media right now, and I'm not seeing anything, no.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Okay.
So, Micah, if someone knows Micah, if you could just let us know, like now that he's had a chance to digest the bill, what is the opinion?
Well, that is frustrating because he did run on this, right? And
Yes, that's correct.
he's been very adamant, and he's been very vocal about it up until about the past 24 hours.
Well, and if the bill is good, like I'm saying, I mean, if there's something we're missing, now apparently there's this new fiscal note out on the lid. I'm talking to people and working through it. I can't do it on the air in real time, but the point is I shouldn't have to. Braun and his people and these legislators did this to themselves.
They should have had this figured out before.
Right. Like I'm not like at times like I'll get information that I'm trying to process on there. I'm like, why am I doing this? Why am I running around trying to help people who screwed it all up?
Hey, let's just throw these numbers out and let's let Rob Kendall figure it out.
Here's
What does this mean, Rob?
Yeah, and here's the problem. I don't even believe anything anymore. Because we went through this. This is what really pisses me off, Casey. And then we'll get to the phones. I went through this exact same thing with these guys in the summer of last year when they put out the initial property tax plan. If you remember, they had this homestead credit thing, homestead deduction, and they were like, this is, because he came in here, he being Braun, came in here and was like, we're doing the bill reset. Remember he told us that, and we're like, oh, this is great. And the actual thing didn't have anything about the bill reset.
Right.
And they're like, we're going to get to it through this homestead credit. And I was like, that seems fishy. And remember, I was calling the county assessor's office and the treasurer, and I was talking to my friends, and I'm like, they're like, oh, like, no, this is not going to work. And I kept telling them, this is not working. You guys are misleading people. They're like, no, it's going to do it. And they were like adamant it was going to do it. And then finally they called me back and they're like, okay, I guess you're right. We'll call you back. And then they went back to the original thing. Like, I've already been through this with you guys. I've already been through this crap where you put these plans out there and then you don't even know what's up and what's down. Like, you rush him to a post. I don't know. Maybe he runs his own Twitter. I don't know. But you guys tweet that out without knowing. And then it's like, now the onus is on us. It's on me. It's on the Nikki Kellys of the world to figure out what the hell you guys just approved. Where's Jeff Thompson? Where's Todd Houston? Where's the governor? I want those guys to stand up in a press conference with a one sheet and go, here's what's going on with LIT now, the local income tax. Here's what it's changed to. Here's how much it's going to go up or save. And then we can ask questions off of that. Like, I'm sick of this, Casey.
So you and I went back and forth yesterday on this, on the fiscal note, and you're like, I'm trying to figure this out. And then I tried to figure it out. And, we went back and forth. And I said, well, that to me says the state is making an additional $1 billion with this plan. And then I thought, well, okay, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Let's just put it through AI and see what AI says. So I put the fiscal language through AI and I asked the question, will it save taxpayers money? And the answer came back, not exactly. So
here's the deal. To all the people who need to hear this, I'm done being an errand boy trying to message, because I told the governor yesterday that I would put out information that's available. And I would try to be as honest as I could. And when things are good, which I think I've done today, right, Casey?
Yeah.
I pointed out things that I think are beneficial. I point out things that are not beneficial.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
I am done being an errand boy when you, the governor, and Houston and Thompson are willing to stand up in a microphone in front of everybody with the one sheet and say, here's what it was, here's what it is, here's how it changes, here's what that does. I will report that. I'm done doing this. I'm so sick of being made to feel like I'm doing some disservice if I'm not errand boying messages in real time, and I'm done with it. I'm absolutely done with it. Let's go to the phones.
Okay, Larry has been waiting for a while. He's on line 7, Kevin.
Hey, good morning. First off, I want to say thank you for what the both of you all have done to bring this to light. I have to disagree with Brandon a little bit, the first caller I think you had. The Democrats in California, at least they tell you what they're going to do, and they do it. They don't lie to you up front like the Republicans here. And I had a lot of hope, but I'm not surprised, because the Indiana Republican Party has been lying to us for almost 40 years. What happened to all the money from the lottery that was supposed to go to education? What happened to the property tax cap that was put in place? What happened to the people supposed to get back all the money over a certain amount that the state saved each year? They find ways to keep it and take more from us. So what I want to say is thank you. They've made my decision a lot easier. I'm retired now. My wife is getting ready to retire in the next couple of months, and I'm out of here. First, I thought about just moving out of Marion County. That's my plan anyway. But after this fiasco with property tax, my mind is 100% made up. I've already been looking at property in Tennessee and Alabama.
All right, man. Hey, I want to get some other calls. Thank you for your call, and thanks for being engaged. Appreciate you. Casey, who's next?
We've got Ann, who's on line 8. Good morning, Ann.
Good morning. Hey, I want to thank you for everything you've done to bring this into the light. I'm super, super disappointed in Braun, but I'm not surprised. I think this is a good lesson for all of us as voters. When you elect somebody that goes to D.C. and becomes part of the swamp, then they decide to leave and come back to the state. Inevitably, they drag the swamp back with them. And you can't trust them. You can't trust them any more in D.C. than you can trust them here in Indiana.
And I have a question for you.
Sure.
I'm wondering, are you more frustrated because the tune changed, or are you more frustrated in the plan?
I think it's equally disgusted with both of them because, I want to retire. I'm of retirement age. I'm a professional. Now I'm afraid to retire because I don't know what my taxes are going to be like. And then we've got all the other stuff that Trump's trying to figure out in D.C., and I'm good with that. But the point is you hire people to be honest and to be very cognizant of the spending and think about the people that they are supposedly representing. And it just seems like he's drug the D.C. values back with him to Indiana because you can't trust him. What happened to people walking the talk? They just don't do that anymore.
All right. Thank you, Ann, for the phone call. I don't know about the whole... I'm in a position where I want to believe him when he said, he wanted to fight. Like, I don't know if it was a lie or if he just didn't have the fight in him.
I have a theory on this. You want to take a break? Thank you, everybody, for your phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take a break, and I'll tell you what my theory on this is?
Yeah.
About what actually went down over the last couple days?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for your phone calls. We may open this back up again tomorrow because people are really, really pissed, and the governor needs to hear it. Because, look, this is the thing. There's still time to change your mind, Governor. You can still come out and nobody will blame you. Everybody, in fact, will love you even more if they say, hey, the guy tried. He was trying to cut the best deal for us. We know what the best deal was now. His heart was in the right place. He's heard us. He's responded. What's the 3-step process?
The 3, acknowledge the mistake, apologize, take corrective action.
You would be a hero of epic proportions if you were to come out and say, I heard the people today and I recognize what's going on. So I'll tell you what I think took place when we come back. How about that?
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. For service today. Today.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Russia releases an American in a prisoner swap. I'm Kylan Talley. Here's what's trending at 11:30. A Russian-American woman imprisoned in Russia is heading back home, following a prisoner swap between Russia and the United States. NBC's Molly Hunter reports that Ksenia Karolina had been held in Russia for more than a year.
According to Karolina's family, the LA resident had traveled to Russia last winter to visit her 90-year-old grandmother, sister, and parents for a brief trip. But when she arrived, Russian authorities confiscated her phone. And according to her boyfriend, she was accused of making a donation of about $50 to a Ukrainian charity after Russia invaded Ukraine.
In exchange for Karolina, the U.S. reportedly freed Arthur Petrov, a German-Russian citizen arrested in Cyprus in 2023 for smuggling electronics and weaponry to the Russian military. The swap happened earlier this morning in Abu Dhabi. The Senate Commerce Committee is holding a hearing on Capitol Hill today to discuss daylight saving time and possibly ditching the process of springing forward and falling back each year. Albums from Elton John and Amy Winehouse are going... entering the National Recording Registry. Each year, the Library of Congress selects 25 audio recordings to be marked for preservation. This year's picks include Elton John's 1973 album Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, along with Amy Winehouse's Back to Black, and one final one,
and the world's gonna know your name. What's your name, man?
The Broadway cast album of Hamilton. I'm Kylan Talley, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. April is here, so that means it's our Dare to Compare sale. Compare our prices to any of the big stores in Indianapolis, your town, it doesn't matter. We guarantee you the lowest price on every sofa, sectional, recliner, mattress, outdoor furniture, anything, plus no extra fees, no delivery charge. Hurry, sale ends Monday only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey guys, it's Rob. Easter is right around the corner. In fact, it's a week from Sunday. And this Easter season, if you're looking for something different, it could be a new church home, even a first church home, call the place that we call home, visit the place we call home, Life Church. Life Church is warm. They're welcoming. They would love the opportunity to welcome you to their community. And WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church, many of them over the years. Love meeting them, meet them all the time. Learn more for yourself. It's on the web, lifechurchin.com. There are 4 campuses across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton.
Bring spring to your door with Target Circle 360. Get all you need for Easter hosting, spring get-togethers, and more with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy. Open the Target app and bring the magic of the season to your door with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
All right, we'll get back to the phones here in just a second. I just want to say a couple things real quick.
Yeah.
Because people, like, what happened with Braun? And I think it's as simple as he went into a staring contest and blinked first. I think he did, as of Friday, tell them no dice. I think he told them that he was going to veto the bill. I think they came back to him because they felt a sense of weakness. And look, we've talked about this throughout the process. When Ron DeSantis goes out and does something, he means it. Like, there are certain people, and they're very effective, when they come out and speak, they're not screwing around, right? In the sense of Braun, while he was very, very passionate, I felt, and he did all the right things, right? Like, he stated the state and all these things about property taxes. You never felt like his heart was totally in it.
Like he wasn't completely committed.
And these guys sense this. They're sharks. They're killers. And they knew he will blink eventually. We just got to give him something that he feels like is a win, and he'll sell as a win. And don't kid yourself. This was also about beating you. And by you, I mean you, the listeners. They hate you. They hate they were put in this position. Because what this has done over the past 3 or 4 months, it is, and the last time this happened was during COVID, but COVID was its own unique little animal. This is actual governance. It isn't a pandemic. It isn't some unknown thing. It isn't public health. It's nuts and bolts of governance and how people view governance and how people view your money. And what this did is it pulled the mask back on these guys. Look at the things we've exposed over the past 3 months.
Right.
And they are livid about it. Don't kid yourself. They hate us. They hate us, they hate you, because they've been exposed. And they knew they had a guy who, while well-intentioned, let's face it, was pretty weak on this. He didn't mention it until after the primary. He didn't mention it until Micah won. And that's when he started talking about it. They knew his heart really isn't in it. So we'll give him enough that he can declare a win, and we think he'll go for it. And Braun took a bad deal. He blinked first. I think that's what happened. I do think Braun was well-intended. I do think he wanted to get stuff. I just think he didn't have the stomach to play hardball with these guys. And look, we live in a different world, right? And this is the thing. This is why I hate all these people. This is why I don't want to be friends with them. It's why I don't want to hang out with them. It's why I don't like going to the things. Because We have the independence to tell you every single day what's going on. And we were right, and I told the governor this was going to happen yesterday, and it is happening, and he still has time to care. He still has time to make the change, right? But I think that's what happened yesterday.
I feel like that they had that text written before you even left the office.
Oh, totally. It was already done.
Yesterday. His I'm proud to announce the Amendment 36 text or that tweet, whatever that was. That was already written. That was in a draft. And the second you exited that office, they were like, post.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a couple more phone calls. If they're still hanging on the line, Kevin, is Mike still there on line 1?
Yep, here he is.
All right.
Mike, hello.
Yeah, hey, thanks for taking my call. Rob, you and I I've had the pleasure of speaking to you face to face a couple of times, but being a true libertarian, I have to kind of sit back and chuckle at what's going on here. I'm also an optimist, and I can see that if this amendment does go through, that thank goodness people will start paying more attention to their local governance and who they're going to elect for their cities and towns. So there is a little bit of a silver lining there, but I honestly think people should take a look at libertarian candidates because, not only are you going to get intelligent representation, I don't think you're going to find any other representative party that will take your trust more seriously than the libertarians.
Okay, thanks, Mike. All right, so let's address that real quick. Because people are like, see, if you'd have supported Rainwater.
Rainwater, right.
Rainwater was not winning this election. And Donald Rainwater ran from us like a chicken when the heat got hot. Instead of just owning his baggage, and I asked him basically as a friend to talk about it. He ran. Donald Rainwater's not a fighter either. It's easy when you're in COVID and everybody's pissed at the governor to go, I wouldn't make you wear a mask. Rainwater ran. He's not a fighter. And what was Rainwater going to do with a bunch of Republicans that Braun wasn't able to get done? Right. So spare me the Donald Rainwater. And by the way, the libertarians, nobody's done more for those guys than me. Whether it was Rainwater or Jeff Moore, you look at the votes they got in our listening area versus everywhere else. But the problem is a whole bunch of those people want to be a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons Club players.
Well, they're just not organized.
They're not. They don't fundraise. They're not organized. Don didn't raise money again this time. Like, he had all these things handed to him. And I'm not saying if you're a libertarian-minded person. I'm talking about the party as a collective.
Yeah.
We, this radio station, me, gave these people such a gift that they never had before, and they didn't care at all about it. They weren't serious. They didn't try. Even when they had good candidates, like Jeff Moore, they don't capitalize on it. So how do you convince people to support them when they're not serious about supporting themselves?
All right, we've got time for possibly one more phone call, and John on line 2. Good morning, John.
Hey, I love your show, but I recently got a service-connected disability through veterans, and I heard the disabled veterans were not getting the property tax break that we got in the past. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, I thought somebody answered that there was not an exhibit. I don't want to answer that definitively because there may very well be, but they didn't talk about that in any of the releases or anything, which is very strange. They definitely talked about the seniors, and I haven't heard anybody talk about that. So I don't want to say no, it didn't. I do find it very odd, though. Usually that's one of the first things they always tout.
Right, they want to hang their hat on that.
And that was not. So, hey, look, you guys are awesome. We'll keep on this. It's not over yet. Governor Mike Braun at gov.in.gov. Governor Mike Braun at gov.in.gov. That's where you can send your emails. He still has time to change his mind. There's a lot of time left in the Senate. If those guys are true, if they truly care about those poor singing orphans in local government, they should veto this bill. They should vote it down. They should not pass it. And so a lot of time left. But the great thing about this is, Casey, people are showing you who they are.
Right. Well, as you said, it's not done yet, and anything can still happen. It is in the House right now for the third reading, and then we'll see what happens to it after it leaves their care.
Yes, care. That's a strong, as in they don't care, right?
That was
hey, do you want
sarcasm.
some good news, Casey?
Yeah, what do you got?
Joaquin Neiman is, what is he? He's 2 under through 6. I'm 2 shots out of the lead.
Hey, we're going to put a bow.
Nothing?
We're going to put a bow on
the Masters to do this today. Nothing?
I know. You gave up your focus on the Masters to concentrate on property tax relief. Yeah, to do your job. What you get paid for. We'll put a bow on it coming up from 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show 306 this afternoon. Property tax bill. Sounds like a stinker. Rob Kendall off the rails. And a lot of laughs. We'll talk this afternoon.
Yeah, let's be honest. How much does it hurt to look at your investments right now? You know, there's a way you could make up for those losses. When you invest $200,000 or more, you get an upfront 20% bonus from Bill Demery. You'll also earn an annual return that's averaged nearly 10% for the past 10 years. And you're going to sleep well knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world.
Learn more by calling Bill Demery, your retirement guy, my retirement guy, 317-648-5120. Get an upfront 20% bonus on your deposit. 20% bonus. Earn an annual return that's averaged nearly 10% for the last decade, and sleep well knowing your money is backed by one of the largest insurance companies in the world. Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. 317-648-5120. Bill Demery, your retirement guy.
Have you seen the color at Sundown Gardens? The greenhouse is bursting with an incredible selection of great tropical plants. Mandevillas, ferns, palms, and more, all in stock now at Sundown. There's just so much going on around the garden center, nursery, and greenhouse. You have to stop in and see it all for yourself. This week, they also have 50% off all Easter decor in Miss Mary's gift shop. Visit Sundown Gardens for all things spring. Sundown Gardens is located on the corner of 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. SundownGardens.com.
Men, if you're over 40, if you're struggling with some low energy, if you're not feeling yourself, Low T Center's testosterone replacement therapy is the solution. Get started today. Visit one of the conveniently located clinics, meet a medical provider, and get back to feeling your best. April only, the consultation is free. Treatment tailor-made just for you, and it's covered by most major insurance. LowTCenter.com. Book that appointment right now. LowTCenter.com.
Nemhart to Matherin. Kick out to the top. Here's a shot for the lead. And Nemhart hits a three from out on the left edge with 14 and 7/10 seconds to play. And it seems like this is happening every night lately.
Cheer on your blue and gold Thursday night when they host one of the hottest teams in the NBA, the Cleveland Cavaliers. One of the last regular season home games before the playoffs. Get your tickets at Pacers.com. Pacers Cavs, Thursday at 7.
I will never forget the day we found out my brother needed a heart transplant. Sure, you hear about people needing an organ sometimes, but it doesn't feel real until you're the one waiting. I tell you, we're just thankful. God answered our prayers. But my brother wouldn't be alive today without that transplant. That's why I signed up to be an organ donor at the BMV. Because I want to be the answer to someone else's prayers.
Sign up to be an organ donor. Say yes the next time you're at the BMV.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, I think I saw a fox on my way in.
Oh, that was the Carfax Carfox. He was congratulating us on our Carfax Top-Rated Service Center Award.
I have always rated Tire Discounters at the very top.
Oh, thanks. So does Carfax. And not just for tires, but for all our services, too.
Alignment, brakes, shocks, and struts, and more.
Yes, sir.
But, Mike, do you think people believe Carfax over me?
Well, you are the Phantom tire buyer.
Exactly.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit VaxAssist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Attorney General's Office, reuniting Hoosiers with over $1 million in unclaimed property every week. Visit IndianaUnclaimed.gov or text money to 46220 today.
Recovery is a journey, and no one walks it alone. The Supporting Sobriety podcast helps friends and families understand addiction, offer support, and care for themselves along the way. Hosted by Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.
And I ain't no Democrat. So ain't no Republican. I only know one party, and it is freedom. I am.
Casey
Casey, there's an old saying.
What's that, Rob?
Don't cry because it's over.
Cry because it happened?
Smile because it happened.
Okay.
Or saying something like that, right?
Sure, right? I don't know. I don't know if our listeners feel like they should be smiling because this happened.
Several ex-girlfriends told me that as they left the door for the final time. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
Okay.
I think that maybe applies here.
And then they went home and cried in the shower.
Okay. So we've obviously spent most of the show today talking about this property tax bill and what happened. And there's a couple things I just think as we leave today that people need to be reminded of going forward. And I think it would serve them well as they go about their daily lives over the next days and weeks and whatever. And the number one thing is nothing has been signed or voted on yet. And you still have an opportunity to have your voice heard. And every person today, whether you support this or don't, should email the governor. We've given this email address out several times. And we'll give it out again and tell him what you think. And that is Governor Mike Braun at gov.in.gov. That's Governor Mike Braun at gov.in.gov.
I'm really curious if that's a new email that they just created because I emailed Griffin yesterday and said, hey, give us an email for the governor, which we can pass on to our listeners. And then a few minutes later, he came back with that. Is that something that they just...
It probably just goes into a dumpster somewhere.
Right.
All
Quick,
the pissed
make an email.
All the pissed off kids.
Quick, make an email. Or if legislative assistant is going to be opening these emails, or if they'll just be ignored in the order they're received. Who knows?
As of the last time I checked, there were almost 700 votes on that poll I put up, and I gave our audience the option.
Yeah.
You can still vote, by the way, just for fun at this point. I said, how do you want us to handle the show tomorrow? We can take a measured approach about it and tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, or we can just rip it to shreds.
Yeah.
And with 700 plus people voting, 92 or something like that percent said just rip it to shreds.
Rip it to shreds.
People are outraged.
Yeah.
And you have every right to be because, and we've laid it out. I thought we were very fair today on this because the governor deserved that while there are some good things in this bill, there is no doubt Governor Braun overpromised and underdelivered. And
which is the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You're supposed to underpromise and overdeliver.
And I think there's many reasons for that. I think he underestimated how vile some of these legislators are and how totally in bed and genuinely stupid some of them are. There are some of them who genuinely believe, like when the Mooresville superintendent stands up and says, I'm going to shut the lights out if you do this. There are some stupid enough who
really believe that.
But I think he underestimated just how entrenched some of these people are in terms of their how beholden they are to these local government people.
I don't know. He was in there. I think he knows what he's dealing with. I'm afraid that maybe he just didn't follow through.
No, you're right. He is not following through on the promises he made. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt that this bill comes up short of the things he said on our radio show and Hammer's and Nigel's show and what he said at the rally. There's no doubt about that. The reality of the situation. So he deserves to be beat up for that. But if we're being fair, there is some property tax relief in this bill.
For 2/3.
Yeah, right. I mean, most people are going to save between $200 and $300. And if you're a senior citizen, you're probably going to save somewhere between $350 and $400. But that's about a third of what was promised.
Yeah.
For many people.
And that is very good. As you mentioned, the potential for $450 for the senior citizens. And that's where this entire fight began. So that is a very good thing. However, if you're the third who's not going to get any relief, how are you feeling right now?
Sure. No, you're right. And the fact that the governor signed on to a bill without clear and specific understanding of what happens with local income taxes, he should be ashamed of himself for that.
Yeah.
Because the fiscal note said it goes up. We had the conversation with Nikki Kelly, too. Don't take our word for it.
Yeah.
I spent my entire night last night up past midnight talking to people.
Right.
And you could get no consensus on this. That you talk to 5 different people, you get 5 different interpretations. And the fact that the governor signed on to that bill before there was a clear understanding, good, bad, or indifferent, of what local income taxes does, he should be ashamed of himself. And that is every person has a right to be pissed off about that as well. That you don't know, they don't know. They didn't know as of yesterday. Now, I don't know. I haven't checked my messages. Maybe they know by now.
Mm-hmm.
But do you even trust it at this point?
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I even put it through AI to see what AI would say. And I asked it, is this going to save taxpayers money? And AI said, not exactly.
So Governor Mike Braun at gov.ing.gov, send him an email. He still has the ability to be visited by the ghosts of taxpayers past, present, and future and change his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And as we laid out, the Senate still has to approve of this.
I got to wonder, because the Senate, they had their bill and it was a lot cleaner, easier to understand. They just removed things. And then when it got to the House, it was like they tried to reinvent the whole damn thing with Thompson and his crazy language. So I got to wonder when it gets kicked back to the Senate, if it passes third reading today, which I assume it will, is the Senate going to look at this and go, this is nowhere where we began?
Well, this is the other thing people have a right to be outraged about, is those senators and their fake, phony, baloney, fake high horse bullcrap, moral high horse bullcrap about how they were so concerned about the local school districts with the reset.
Yeah.
And then if they vote for this, it will be the exact opposite of what all of those people said in the committee hearings and in the vote. And they'll prove to you that this is dinner theater.
Right.
It's
this
a glorified
is all for
flow
show.
And this is part of where the success for us comes in, is even if this bill passes, never before has this radio program or this radio station been as powerful as it is right now, because never before have more people been paying attention because of what they're seeing unfold right in front of them.
Absolutely. People are realizing what their government is all about.
And from the moment I showed up here, I said my goal is always to do two things: educate and inform. And if I can entertain and educate. And if I can entertain you and educate you and inform you about what's going on and do those two things well, you will start to see things the way we see them. And now more than ever, this is the last straw for a lot of people, that here's who your elected people are. Here's how much they hate you. Here's how much you can't trust them. And the governor has really got to lay out what the next step is for local government reform and property tax reform, because he broke a lot of trust with what he signed on to.
Oh, yeah. He did. He said he was a fighter. He was going to fight. And a lot of people feel like he did not do that.
So I felt like today we did a very good job of being honest with our audience, letting you sound off. We took a lot of phone calls, being honest with our audience about what's in the bill, the good, the bad, the ugly, and trying to say, here's where the governor deserves some praise, and here's where you got every right to be really honked off.
All right. Well, they've got the third reading today, and we'll see if they pass it in the House.
Time for the Masters.
Yeah, if that happens, then it goes to the Senate. I believe they're going to vote on it next week, and we'll take it from there.
Smile, Casey. It's Masters Thursday. Don't let this get you down.
No.
Don't ruin my day.
I'm not going to ruin anybody's day. I'm going to tell you it's time to go home. That makes you really happy. Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Your future holds so much potential. The question is, are you planting the right seeds today to make it flourish? At Howard Bailey Financial, we strive to help you create a retirement plan that can adapt to your evolving needs, offering guidance to bring you clarity, confidence, and purpose along the way. Whether you're just beginning or refining your financial strategy, we're here to support you. Let's grow something lasting together. Text GROW to 888-262-1104 to start planning for your future full of possibility. That's GROW to 888-262-1104. Take the first step today. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Spring in Indy, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Don did. He called Rhino Shield.
Well, the home was built in 1948. Paint on the aluminum siding was peeling, and I couldn't find anyone who would repaint it until I called Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield's better than paint, and the crew?
Painted all my aluminum siding, and I've got a front porch that runs the whole length of the house, and all the pillars and everything. And once they were gone, I couldn't even tell that they were there.
With Rhino Shield's 25-year transferable warranty, you'll never have to paint your home again. And right now, you can have Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
Well, I've told a lot of people, do the Rhino Shield.